Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 8 of the Intermission Podcast, the show where two film students discuss classic, iconic, and obscure films from times gone by. We're your hosts, Oscar W. Fitchett.
Robbie Tweedale. That's my name.
This is why I would have said, good morning, Robbie, but we're about like 15 minutes away from the afternoon, so it's not really become morning.
Yeah, I've been chatting for a while.
Yeah.
Loving life, you know.
But you know, we were good. Still got morning vibes. That's exactly what this is. Yeah. Good shit.
I'm still tired.
I'm a little bit, but you know, caffeine. Got
These things happen.
I mean, I'm nearly done with my coffee.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I'll finish mine now. Go on, lad. Oh.
I'm not down in my coffee.
Thought it's gonna nick it.
Hey. Yeah. I just want to say, I keep meaning to say this. We've been doing this now for well over a month.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty good, isn't it?
Gone, but this is the eighth episode, which means this is 8 weeks of Intermission Podcast.
Jesus.
That's longer than summer school holidays in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, and time's gone by so quickly.
Yeah, we're pretty good, aren't we?
Yeah, we.
Time flies when you're talking about The Godfather 3. That film that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then like much better Pacino films 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I just want to say, but yeah, thanks to anyone who listens on to these. And you know what? I know we don't get much interaction or anything, but you know, I'm fine with it because it gives me an excuse to watch some solid films and talk to you every week, Robbie.
Exactly.
Which is
You've got something to talk about.
Exactly. It's good shit. It's good stuff doing this. And also, I want to give a very special shout out to absolutely no one. And then moving on to
excellent.
to going right into it to this week's topic, which is for the 1957 courtroom drama, or is it technically a jury room drama? 12 Angry Men. Directed by Sidney Lumet, written by Reginald Rose, based on the teleplay by Reginald Rose. The film stars Henry Fonda, Lee J. Cobb, Ed Begley, E.G. Marshall, Jack Wharton, Martin Balsam, John Fielder, Jack Klugman, Edward Binns, George Voskovec, and Robert Webber. And the plot synopsis of the film, according to IMDb, is a jury holdout attempts to prevent a miscarriage of justice by forcing his colleagues to reconsider the evidence. Accolades of the film is that it has a 95% on the tomato meter and an audience score of 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. It holds an 8.9 out of 10 on IMDb, placing it at number 5 on their top 250. And it has a 4.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, placing it at number 7 on their top 250. It also is at number 87 on the American Film Institute's top 100 films all time. Other awards that it holds is that it won the Writers Guild of America Award for Best Written American Drama. It was nominated for a Directors Guild of America Award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Motion Pictures. Nominated for 2 BAFTA awards, including Best Film, and won 1 BAFTA for Best Foreign Actor for Henry Fonda. The film was nominated for 4 Golden Globes, including Best Supporting Actor for Lee J. Cobb, Best Drama Actor for Henry Fonda, Best Director for Sidney Lumet, and Best Drama Picture. And it was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, including Best Adapted Screenplay for Reginald Rose, Best Director for Sidney Lumet, and Best Picture. But the accolade that it's most prestigious for, and the highest accolade that it holds, is that is that for 8+ years now, it has been my all-time favourite film. I specifically remember late January 2012, sat down, watched this film for the very first time, because I thought, why not? Saw it was pretty high on the top 250, didn't know anything about it, let's give this a go. And for the very first time, that was the first time that I saw a film that I instantly thought, that's the best film that I've ever seen in my entire life. Other films have come close. I will admit, throughout the years, other films have come close into topping it. Charlie Chaplin's The Gold Rush at one point was in consideration in my head. Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood was a film that I watched constantly at one point, and Inception I was strongly debating 2 years ago. Earlier this year, the film Her was a quick obsession of mine, and I was really considering if that was my favourite film of all time. And even a few weeks ago, I watched Paths of Glory for the first time, Stanley Kubrick's World War I film, and that film had a similar feeling to me of when I finished watching that film. I was like, that might be one of the best films I've ever seen in my whole life. But alas, I don't think anything's going to top this film for me in my life. It's been my favourite film for too many years. So that's my quick off the cuff. And also, before we get further into it, we're talking spoilers about 12 Angry Men. Haven't seen 12 Angry Men? Go and watch it. There you go. There's my quick sell to you. It's my favourite film ever. So
go see it. It's good.
If you value my opinion that much, go for it. So there you go.
Yeah, spoilers for what my thoughts are going to be on it, but it's real good. Go watch it.
Yeah. Go on then, Robbie. There you go. That was my thing there. What do you think? So you liked it?
It's pretty great, isn't it? I think there's so I was nervous about this episode. I was nervous about watching the film because I know it's your favorite film.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, what if I don't like it though? So
it'll make for a fun episode, is what it would
have
done.
I guess. But luckily, I really enjoyed it. I thought there's not a lot of there's few films in this world that I always say would be entirely perfect. Like the scripts are so perfect that there's just no faults in it. Like the original Star Wars, I would say, is one of those. Probably Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of those. 12 Angry Men, I would say, it's a perfect film. Like there's not a moment wasted. Everything serves a purpose. It's very good, very tight.
It's the beautiful 90 minutes of length as well, which I love a good I love a good 3-hour film, but man, just like there's something so satisfying about a really tight hour and a half film.
Yeah, because it feels like it moves in real time. I know it doesn't because there is a time jump to nighttime at some point, but
no, it's real time.
Is it in real time?
Yeah. It's done all in real time.
Yeah, because it felt like you were just kind of a fly on the wall watching this thing happen. Although it's not shot like that, and the cinematography is amazing. I'll get into it.
Oh, we'll get to that.
God, it's good.
I'll start off with a few of my points, and we'll do what we have been doing. We'll get to a certain moment, and we'll exchange notes there. I got as my first. I wasn't sure if I was going to write too many notes because I was like, am I just going to sit and enjoy this again? But it looks like I've got a lot, but anyway.
I haven't got a lot of notes.
Anyway.
I was just kind of enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I would. I'm kind of glad that's the experience for your first time viewing these.
Yeah.
Like this one, because I get slightly nervous sometimes of the thought of you making notes on first viewing, because I'm like, is he going to overanalyze it too much? But you're always good in the sense that you're like a good in between with all of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I just point things out.
But with this one specifically, I was like, I kind of hope he just sits and just take, because again, there's no real breather, is there, to be like, this is the down moment, let me just quickly jot down a note.
No, there's always stuff happening.
I mean, I could do it because I've seen it many times, so I know it. But yeah, my first thing is that I got the opening shot inside the courthouse would be hugely praised by Hutch. That was my instant thought. I'm like, and then I'm watching this, I'm like, and then just the overall concept of 12 Angry Men, all in one room, real time. The opening is a big tracking shot. I'm like, did I get accidentally influenced by this film when doing the muse? I didn't realize.
Maybe.
That was my own thought. I was like, there's a big long tracking shot in the courthouse, which is beautiful. It follows different people.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, this is good shit. I did that, but not as good.
Not
as good.
We tried our hardest.
I mean, if you ask our lecturer, he would say it was amazing. And I'll take that. I'll take that.
We'll take it to the grave.
Yeah, if that's the only thing I have. But yeah, I just love that shot. And again, it's a follow-on from last week. Those gliding shots, man. There's a lot of them. And they're really well done. I got 2 minutes in. You know exactly what's going on. This is at the point where they're in the court and the judges just saying stuff. And it's just perfect setup with it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, it's a court, okay, gliding in. The judge is saying his stuff. Some people might be like, it's a bit too exposition-y. It's like, yeah, but this needs to be known. Like, I wouldn't say this is like unnecessary dialogue.
But it's not. He doesn't tell you everything. That's why it doesn't feel like loads of exposition, because it's just the judge just kind of goes like, yeah, well, you've got to decide whether this person's guilty of first-degree murder. Off you go, and you kind of find out the rest of the facts as they talk about it.
Yeah, and I love that it's that right to left pan across the jury, and I love I noticed this because I'm a few pages into reading the script, which I heard apparently, which I've been wanting to read for a long time anyway, and I've heard like a lot of people saying like this is like quintessential script to read if you want to be a writer, because and what's interesting to me about the script on initial looking at this, the film's 90 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The script's 181 pages.
How? What?
And if you're going by the page per minute rule, that would make 12 Angry Men a 3-hour epic. But it's half that. What I'm looking at so far, there's so much detail in the direction.
Oh, right, okay.
There's so much, there's that one glide shot says like many different things about each juror member there and then.
Oh, like a description of them.
They kind of like, first of all, the first page is just a full page about a whole character bio on the characters. So it says juror 1/foreman. It says the age, the job application, and then their personality.
Oh, right.
Which I love. And
That's
I was reading through
great.
because that's the first like you learn about their occupations throughout the film, but like there's like juror 2, he's a bank teller.
You never learn that.
That's in the script. It says he's a timid bank teller who just kind of goes with what's being said.
That's pretty good.
Like and I'm like, God, but like within that tracking shot, the right to left, it specifically makes an effort to say that everyone's looking at the judge except juror 3, who's given a disconcerting look to the defendant, which it's like, oh God, he is as well. Like, and I picked that up like watching. I'm like, oh yeah, he's like proper like juror 3 is like proper giving him a glare.
As they're walking out, he just keeps kind of staring at him.
Yeah. A few of them like look back and see like just like to double like just to look, and I love that as well. That's the only time you see him.
Yeah.
The defendant, and you can see it. You can see so much there within that one like close up on him.
Yeah.
I think, and then it just fades into the jury room, which I've got here. The credit shot in the juror's room is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That 6-minute oneer.
Mental.
And again, I've got here, this oneer manages to introduce every character perfectly. And you're going to hear me say that a lot, just perfect.
Yeah.
Like, for what this is, it's just, like, it starts off that, like, high angle thing with the fan in the foreground and everyone walking in, and then the camera lowers, and then you go from one to another, to another, to another, and, like, Juror 7's on about the baseball game, talking about Juror 2.
Mm-hmm.
We got this new guy, he goes, Foom! Foom! It's like, real baseball fan, are you?
Yeah, he walks off.
It just leaves. I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, I think you could break down that one take into, like, a video in it. I don't mean a podcast. I mean just, like, a video essay. Like, you can break that down in a sense of how to, like, really just establish characters right off the bat.
Yeah.
I also noted down it helps I'm watching this in a 26-degree room. 26 degrees Celsius as I was watching this. I have the fan blasting, which helps with the heat. Which, again, Sidney Lumet, man, he knows how to do heat very well.
He does.
Because Dog Day Afternoon, I felt that. It was stuffy. This...
Like, you definitely know, and I think it helps that they establish that the fan isn't working. Straight away, so you're like, oh no, it's going to get pretty warm in there.
It's going to get well stuffy. Yeah.
And then you see 11 sweaty men. The alternate title.
Yeah. And then
one sweaty man later on.
Which, there's...
in a poignant moment.
Oh, God, man. right, and I'll get to this point. I get chills every time Juror 8 raises his hand for not guilty. Every fucking time, man.
Yeah.
It's that shot. It's that like kind of like wide shot of it all. It's like, right, all raise for guilty, everyone. And it's when the form Juror 1's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's that one like bit there where he goes, it's okay. Goes all for not guilty, and then just like Henry Fonda just raises. It's like, oh fuck! Yeah, and right there, it's like, right, okay, then now we're off. That's the film.
Yeah.
Like it's such just like a right. You don't need more. You don't need more to like get it and be like, okay, then what's gonna happen now? Because what else do you need? Like that's like one thinks he's not guilty, the others think he is guilty. It's just, oh god, I don't know, man. But yeah, it's just so fucking good. It's just like again, it's like perfect introductions to everything about this. I think with it all, yeah. I'm looking at my notes. Most of them are like quotes and stuff because I think that's like the most poignant ways you can like, pull from it, like moments that I gained from it. What's your notes? Up.
I've got so my first note was shit, it's just a kid.
Oh yeah.
Because at the beginning there's nothing like when the judge is talking about what the jury have to discuss and stuff. There's nothing about his age,
a good point.
About the defendant's age at all.
Point, yeah.
And then you only see him once, and as soon as you see the back of his head, you're like, oh Christ, it's just a child.
18 years.
He's 18? Yeah. Did they say 18?
Yeah, he's 18 years of age.
So it's like, shit, he's just a kid, and then it lingers on his face. And I suppose it's
terrified.
the way that... Yeah. And I suppose it's the way that the jurors will be looking at him as they were leaving. As it gets into as you see the jury room, his face is still there because they used a fade, and it's one of the old school fades where it takes the piss to happen. But I guess it's like the jurors are like it's meant to show obviously that the kid's face is in the jurors' heads as they go into the jury room, and I thought
that's a good point. Yeah,
that's really good stuff. And then I put this is all one take was the next because Jesus Christ, that's a big one. That's
like I always know that, but then I forget like how long it goes on for.
It's so long. It baffles me.
It goes up until Juror 1 says, "Gentleman at the window, can you take a seat?"
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Henry Fonda at the window, which is almost like snapping him out of it.
Yeah.
Which again
instantly puts him separate from the rest of the group.
Oh yeah.
Which is great. And then this kind of moves a little bit forward because, as I said, I wasn't really making a lot of notes. So I was just kind of enjoying it. But it's just after he's raised his hand to say not guilty for the first time, and other people start saying stuff. And once the other guy says not guilty, I put so far we have 3 angry men. I was gonna try and count how many angry men we had as it was going along, like when they started shouting.
Oh yeah.
So it was 3, and then it jumped up to 6 a couple minutes later, and then it just kind of went on.
I have a question.
Yeah, go on.
Who was your favourite juror?
I really liked the French guy.
Juror 11.
9 is he also 11? There you go. He's good. I enjoyed him a lot. He's a good lad.
George Voskovec is the actor's name.
I enjoyed how innocent he was. I thought that was quite nice. I liked what was he called? Oh my god. The guy that was also raised in the slums.
Juror 5.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
I thought he was great.
Yeah.
But then I also really, really enjoyed the performance of Juror 3. Even though he was meant to be a knob the whole way through, he was really good at it.
Lee J. Cobb, man. Lee J. Cobb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
I love. I mean, I like Juror 8, obviously. Yeah. But I like Juror 5 a lot. I like his presence in it. But But that's one thing about this film. I don't think there's any wasted character in the film at all. As
No.
well. When you get 12 people, you get 12 characters, and none of them feel like they don't have a moment.
No, that's something I was gonna say about the structure of this film. It's like one of the last. It's one of like the last notes that I've made, but I'll say it now because it applies. But the film is it's really perfectly structured because if you find out as each of the guys goes through, you get the whole thing at the beginning where it's like, oh, is anyone else going to agree with Juror 8? And then the rest of it, as they're going along and each of them decides not guilty, they each get a little moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So it's like structured as in, there's the big group at the beginning and just Henry Fonda, and then as it goes along and each of them get persuaded, each of them have a little character moment as it goes along.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so well done. And I've also put fuck me, this is satisfying, because it is so satisfying to watch them all fall one by one into the not guilty.
Yes,
I've really loved that.
All reasonable responses as well. Every single one's like, it's not like, why did he just immediately change his mind?
Oh no, each of them it's because something gets proven.
Even the one time that the guy, even the one Juror 7, when he did just change his mind randomly, he got put into question. It's like, why?
Because he wanted to go to the ball game.
He was sick of this. He was sick of the whole thing. Yeah. But yeah, and I've got here 12 minutes in, and our morals are immediately thrusted into question. I got in quotes. I don't know whether I believe it. It's not easy to raise my hand to send a boy to die without talking about it at first, and then to which that's when Juror 7 goes, "Who says it's easy?"
Yeah.
That's like as soon as then people are like, go on, then why then? And then like Henry Fonda's like, I don't know, it's just not easy to do that. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think it's easy for me to do it? And immediately it's almost kind of like we're just immediately thrusted into that mindset of like thinking about that way. Yeah, I like that here. Like when Juror 8 says, let's talk for an hour. Ball game doesn't start till 8 o'clock. And I love how he easily has them all read. He knows exactly like their motive. And he's calculated with it. But it's not like he's not like I don't know, it's almost like, again, he's not perfect, but he knows like why he's like going right. He knows what's important to him. He knows what's important to everyone in that room. Yeah. In that moment to like just argue a point with it all. And then immediately Juror 7's like, all right then, yeah, he's got a point. Oh well then, we got time to spare.
Yeah.
I got here, Juror 8 isn't a white knight. He's even not 100% sure at the start, but he has an optimistic mind. I don't know what some of these quotes. I don't know why I've got. What are we sitting here for? I don't know. Oh, that's 10. What did 10 say? I can't remember at that point. But I like that as well. Like he's he's not a white knight. He's not just like I believe everything. It's me like, well, let's just think, because it's the point. It's the point where it's like it just feels wrong just to meet, just coming in a room and all being like guilty, without even like discussing it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote down that I said there was a point where I was thinking I don't agree with Henry Fonda yet, because at the beginning he was just kind of going not guilty, and the other guys were going why, and he was going I don't know, just maybe he isn't, and it's like, well, yeah, but that's not an argument. It was only when the actual like they were going through the evidence and seeing how it could have been wrong and all that kind of stuff that I actually started to agree. But before that, even I was kind of like, yeah, but you're just saying like, yeah, but it's a possibility that he's not guilty, and it's like, well, yeah, of course there's a possibility, but like, what else have you got apart from just saying, yeah, maybe? But
I'm just saying it's possible. There you go. There's my weekly.
Perfect. Oh, I wasn't even expecting it then as well. That's great.
And I'm saying it's not possible. The kid's guilty.
I love that it kind of teetered on the edge of, that like old school acting. Where I'm going to talk really quiet and dramatically, and then I'm going to shout really loud because it's serious now.
Yeah, yeah.
It teetered on the edge of it, but it was never ridiculous. They were all really great.
Oh yeah, they all were. Oh yeah, that God's sake, this is slightly still waking up.
Go on.
Bear with me, everyone. My quote here is when Juror 10 says, "What are we sitting here for?" And Juror 8 says, "I don't know." That's why I said, like, he's not a white knight. He's not even sure about it.
Yeah.
Which again, it's like first time you watch that, it's like you look and goes like, yeah, everyone's like, well, why are we then? Yeah, because that's when he's like, that's when Juror 10's like, right, I just heard a great story, and then Juror 8's like, that's not why we're here. He goes, all right, then why are we sitting here? He goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
It goes, you can need like back up your points in a bit.
Come on,
8.
Henry, lad.
Oh, wait, 8. And that's another thing, you never know the names until the very end. Well, only
and
2.
you only even find out 2 of them anyway. And you never find out what he does for a living. Even though you find out the rest of them.
I mean, if you read the script, you do. But
Sorry, Oscar.
No, but yeah, no, exactly, yeah. Which
like
I think, if you break down the job let me look up the script. Hang on, I've snapped the pictures. I snapped a picture of it, and I'll literally go through the jobs, and we can see like if we can like think about like if that matches.
Yeah.
Juror 1 is an assistant high school football coach, which we do find out.
Yeah.
And I got a specific note where I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Juror 2 is a bank clerk, which I think that you can see that. Juror 3 is a head of messenger service.
Yeah. We find that out, I think.
Juror 4 is a stockbroker.
Yeah.
Which you go look all the facts. Juror 5 is a mechanic.
Yeah.
Juror 6 is a house painter, which we do find out.
Very
briefly as well. I like how we never go into these big things like when I paint back in the when I start off as a house painter, it's like it's in relevance to the L train. I was like, yeah, I painted a house next to the L, and it's definitely Juror 7 is a salesman, which you can see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Juror 8 is an architect.
Oh yeah, we do find out what he does. He says it in the bathroom.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
forgot about
that. Juror 9 is retired. Yeah. Juror 10 is a garage owner.
Right.
Juror 11 is a watchmaker, which we do find out.
Yeah.
And Juror 12 is an advertising man, which we do find that out as well.
Yeah.
But again, all of them, you can see their jobs in each one of them, but neither of them have to like outright be like, hey, I do this.
Yeah. No.
The one times one of them goes, I do this, is Juror 12 when he's trying to be like, you know that line? I came up with it.
Yeah.
He's trying to humble brag.
Yeah, I made the note of the ad guy is the worst. He is so irritating. He's constantly like, look how cool I am. You know, when me and the boys are in a meeting.
Oh, he does as well. When he stands up and he like puts his foot on the chair and like leans. Yeah, when this happens, yeah.
He's like, yeah, well, when me and the boys are in a meeting, we say the phrase something like, put up a flagpole and see all salute it or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
Dude, shut up. No one cares.
I want to see us there as Juror 13 and 14 to see like how we would.
Yeah, I'd just be like, shut the fuck up. No one cares. Sit down. Has this got anything to do with anything? No.
Mate, put your leg off, put your foot off the chair.
Yeah.
And put your ass on it instead.
It's like the first opportunity that he has to say anything as well, because it's when they're on a break. Like, as soon as he's got an opportunity to not talk about the case at all, he's just like, well, when me and the boys, because I've got loads of mates. Shut up, mate.
It's totally like that as well, isn't it?
Oh, like, yeah.
All my mates. This is one thing I know. It's the bit at it's that angle where I think it's Juror 11 is in the foreground, then Juror 12 is slightly behind him, and then Juror 1 is to the right. And Juror 1 says, maybe the gentleman at the end can tell us why he is disagreeing. And in that shot, they're almost looking right at the lens.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're asking the viewer who's doubting. It's like, why are you disagreeing?
Yeah.
And they do a slight flip reverse of that later on in the film, which I'll get to. So, but I find that like, an interesting line. They're very like derogatory, with like condescending without being condescending. It's like, I think it is Juror 12 who says it. He goes, maybe we can show him why he's wrong.
Yeah.
So he says somewhere along those lines. It's like,
Yeah,
that's such a snide remark.
Yeah, there's no need.
not like oh well, we can tell us our opinion. We can tell him our opinion and see why we think this, as opposed to like we can tell him why he's wrong.
Yeah.
And then that like again that glide from like juror to juror saying the point, another juror again. Man, the cinematography, man.
It's perfect. Like that was my next note, is that this whole thing is shot so amazingly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just like when we think about picking a shot and every shot has to have a meaning. Every shot has to tell you something, just with like film language and stuff like that. This film is just a masterclass in that.
Oh yeah.
Every single shot is just so good.
Yeah, Boris Kaufman is the cinematographer.
Good job,
film.
Boris.
He also did the cinematography for On the Waterfront, which I haven't seen yet.
I haven't seen that.
That's a Brando film.
All right.
And I think Lee J. Cobb's also in that as well.
Ah.
So yeah, and he also did a few others for Lumet. He worked with Lumet a bit more after this as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like again, it's just everything has a meaning. Everything has a meaning, and like one bit of, because the trivia isn't that long, but I grabbed a few bits of trivia from the behind the scenes making of thing that I looked at.
Right. Okay.
Wasn't really behind the scenes. It was more making of stuff. But
yeah,
they chose to do like, where is it at? They basically as the narrative went on, they switched different lenses to make it. I think it's like longer focal length to make it like to like as the film goes on, the walls seem closer in.
Oh.
And of course like the classic thing of like the film starts off above the eye level of the jurors and Henry Fonda and that, and then like as the film goes on, it goes to midway through eye level, and then by the end it's all below eye level. It's a classic thing that it's kind of 101 to be like, oh, if you make the camera higher, you make the person look more weaker. If you make it lower, you make them more. It's simple filmmaking stuff, but it is a reason why you get taught it.
Exactly.
Because it fucking works.
And it probably wasn't this like, oh well, that's so basic. It probably wasn't then.
But no, yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean,
really?
I'm trying to think of like I think, man, the 50s was such an interesting time for like just filmmakers experimenting.
Yeah.
With like new, different ways of film. I mean, you look at any Hitchcock film from then. My God, that's where the push and pull was invented. In that decade, it's just, man, good shit from there.
Good shit.
Smooth glide. I got here. Yeah, smooth glides into the close-ups are just brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I got in quotes here, Juror 8 saying, "Why did you believe her story? She's one of them, isn't she?" And then with Juror 10 saying, "You're pretty smart, ain't you?" And I'm like, it's just how I don't know. Like he's clocked them. He knows each of their points, which I also find interesting because I watched the teleplay after this as well for the very first time, which came out 3 years prior to this film.
Yeah.
And it was a live drama, so it's interesting. The filmmaking wasn't exactly like tight as it.
Well, yeah.
But because it was like live. But in that moment where the guy goes, "Oh, you're pretty smart, ain't you?" He goes for him in that moment in the teleplay.
Oh, right. Like gets up and
like he's already stood up and he goes for Juror 8 and everyone else has to like break it up at that point. And I kind of like that moment where he just kind of like goes like because they're on about the woman. You're like, "Oh, she saw it happen." He goes, "Oh, isn't she one of them?" And it's just that pause and he goes, "You're pretty smart, man, ain't you?" I like that moment more than just going like, "I'll fight you now."
We're gonna have a scrap and there's nothing you can do about it.
Which, if that happened, I think that would take a lot away from the moment that actually did happen.
Yeah, but exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I just love that. Like, again, just that close-up of, like, Juror 10 just having that look about, like, fucking hell, this guy. Fuck's sake. With each jury member given their reasons to think he's guilty, you get a sense of each of their morals.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like you get Juror 2, who's like, I just think he's guilty. I don't know. I think it's just pretty obvious. Again, he's saying that. He's not saying much. It's because it's like he hasn't heard anyone else really speak, so he doesn't want to, like, offend, really.
Yeah.
That's why. And then, like, obviously Juror 3 is like, right, he just is. You just get these kids. It's just how it goes and all that stuff. And then, like, and Juror 10 interrupts it. It's that moment where, and then Juror 1's like, we should go in order. And then Juror 10's like, no, I want to say my point. It's like, oh, I know exactly where he is.
Yeah, exactly. There's a great moment with him later on, which we'll get onto.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, okay, right. Yeah, I've got in quotes here. Might have been too many. Everyone has a breaking point. Where he goes, says about, like, he's only got hit twice. He goes, might have been too many. And I'm like, that's interesting. I know that specific down there. Like, every man has a breaking point. Because I thought to myself, this might come back to it, and it does.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like, I mean, we broke down that theory of breaking points and people within Apocalypse Now, so I'm not going to go into that. If you want more of us breaking that down, go see our Apocalypse Now podcast. But I think that is a very strong, relevant point within this film as well.
Yeah.
Again, everyone's kind of calm, and especially Juror 3's arc. The breaking...
God, yeah.
Well, you could even look at, like, everyone has a breaking point. Which causes them to side not guilty, eventually. Like, and again, it's just finding what that is.
Yeah.
And again, its relevance to maybe, you know, that's just what, like, he murdered because that was just it.
But in each of the reasons that the people seem to vote not guilty and change their vote seem to be tailor-made to their personality.
Yes.
Like, the last one to go before Juror 3 is Juror 4, I'm guessing he's the stockbroker guy.
Yeah, Juror 4.
Yeah. He is all about logic and facts and straight down the middle. And when it's just pointed out to him, yeah, it's probably not, though, because of this, and it's something that he knows to be true. That's when he breaks. Like, each of them are tailor-made to what that person is like generally.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
I love that. I put you as it's going along, you're realizing what each of the men are like, which we've been over. But there was a really good moment with that, with Juror 4, where he said about the boy got slapped, and the guy next to him goes, no, he got punched. He said punched. There's a big difference between punched and slapped, and he goes, fine. The boy got hit.
Yeah.
He doesn't say punched because he's not gonna, he's that in his own mindset that he's like, no, I'll compromise, but I'm not saying he's right and I'm not.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Definitely.
It's so good. That's really good character work.
God, the dialogue in this film as well. I just love those little moments. Again, that's the thing that we've been constantly saying. The little moments, but like it's like
it's a film of little moments. Though.
I know it's even within the beginning opening one where like, is it the bailiff? When he says that he locks the door and Juror 5 goes like, I didn't know he locked the door. I didn't know they locked the door. And then Juror 10 goes, sure they do. What do you think happened? He was like, oh no, I just didn't think on. And that's a piece of dialogue. That's literally just a thing of like, that's a thing, and that's written in the script. Like that's like line for line as well. So it's just like, from my understanding, I don't think there's any improv in this thing, which I think, which if that's the case, I don't know how all these guys didn't get nominated.
Which is incredible because it's also natural as well. It feels exactly how the conversations would go.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why I was so swept up in this film first time watching it. And each time I do watch it, I get so swept up because it's just so chill.
Yeah.
At times. And then it gets to like the most tense thriller you've ever fucking seen in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
As well. And you get like some of the best action scenes ever without a punch even getting thrown. It's just absolutely sensational. I'll just finish this page off and then we can
go for
further. I got when Juror 3 first talks about his son, you can see 8 has a suspicion of his motive in this case.
Yeah.
It's when he's like looking at his shows him, and it's that shot. The thing that I thought about is when the shot cuts to showing Juror 8.
Yeah.
Looking at him, it's like there's a reason why they did that. Because again, any edit and any camera setup, it's intentional.
Yeah, every time.
So you know, like fine, well, like at that moment, he's like, huh, all right. Like when Juror 3 first says, "You work your heart out for these kids," and it's like, yeah, there's something there. There's it's like there's instantly something there with you.
Yeah, it's like he makes a mental note of it as soon as he hears it.
Yeah. Juror 5's reveal of being a child of slums is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Again, it's that like slow zoom in on him.
And you know what's going to happen as well.
Yeah.
As it's zooming, you know it's going to happen and you're thinking, shit, is this going to be a big like blow up thing? It puts you on the edge of your seat.
Because it's I think it's Juror 4 and Juror 10 are talking about the fact like they're just all the same. And then it's like with Juror 4's right next to Juror 5. And Juror 10 is slightly opposite Juror 5. And Juror 5 is just kind of just like looking, he's thinking, just don't say anything. Just keep it, just don't cause a scene. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as they keep talking, I think it's Juror 10 who keeps going for it, saying like, they're just all the same. They're just all criminals. And then that's immediately goes, I would just like to say something. And that's another, I like how he's not like slamming table. How dare you? I was a slum kid. He's just kind of like, I just want to say something. Now, I was born in the slums.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's not personal. And he goes, well, that is personal. It's like, that is exactly how someone would take that. Because you're just hearing someone just saying like, all slum kids are the fucking same. Get rid of them. And it's
every person from Hartlepool is the same. Oscar. You're going to get offended. But it is. If someone was saying to you or something about like, oh, everyone from Hartlepool's the same, you'd be like, calm down, all right? I'm from Hartlepool. Leave me alone.
Yeah. It's not. He's not. And it's like I'm not defending the place that I grew up. I'm just saying we're not all like it.
Yeah.
And that's the point that he makes. It's like he's never saying we're good people. He goes, it's not great, but our way. We're not all like shit. Like, which is I just love that moment. Again, Jack Klugman, mate. Again, I can say that about any of the actors.
Yeah.
Like,
you really can.
Like, I just said, Jack Klugman, Juror 5, he was fucking brilliant. And then I'm like, yeah, but I could say that about Ed Begley, who played Juror 10. And E.G. Marshall, who played Juror 4. Any of the fuckers. Like, there was no need for me to say fuckers there. I apologise there as well.
It's all right, mate. You get passionate. I like it. It's fine.
And that's another thing as well. This is a U-rated film.
Yeah. I saw that when I put the disc in. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's a U-rated film. And it's just... and you think it's like, there was no swearing. There was no inappropriate behaviour. Well, I mean, no inappropriateness in it.
No inappropriateness.
No, but again, you kind of realise, it doesn't need to be at all.
Yeah.
I'd be taken well off guard if just one of them just threw out the word fuck.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem needed.
No.
At all in this specifically. I
think it's quite intense with Juror 10's underlining racism generally anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's all I need. I don't need any more of him being like...
Exactly.
Which I found... There was a very interesting note in the script where it says he's never been anywhere. He doesn't intend to go anywhere. And he's fine with that.
Right.
Which instantly says where it's like, so he's just been in New York for his entire life and he has no intention in going anywhere. So he's completely sheltered in his views on anything.
Yeah.
Which again, I feel that's still incredibly relevant today.
Yeah, that's exactly what I put in that. We'll go more in depth with it, but in that moment that I was talking about before,
Yeah.
I put it's another pretty beautiful piece of commentary in a Lumet film.
Oh yeah.
He seems to do it a lot when
Oh yeah.
it's not very common in films of that era, and I think
No, man.
he's really someone to look to for that kind of stuff. It's pretty great.
I would also like to remind people this was Sidney Lumet's debut feature film.
How? How is that possible?
I mean, he did theatre and TV before then, so it's not like he's new to like.
Yeah, but still,
like, I don't get it. Like,
your first film to come out, and it's what did you say, like 85th in the top 100?
it's 87th in AFI's top 100.
Amazing.
And
How do you do that in your first film?
It's number 5 in IMDb's top 250 and number 7 in Letterboxd's.
Jesus Christ.
I don't get. He was 30. I had to check his age. I'm like, I need to make sure that I'm not like majorly like falling behind it.
Yeah, majorly slacking.
He was 33. I'm fine. I've still got
All
time.
right, we've got time. We've got time.
We've got time. It's not like when I found out like Kevin Smith was 23 when he made Clerks, and like
Oh yeah.
and Paul Thomas Anderson was like 27 when he made Boogie Nights.
God, that's devastating.
No, I think he was 26. I'm a year younger than that.
Jesus.
Fuck's sake. But yeah, it's fine. Sidney Lumet was 33 when he did 12 Angry Men. I've still got time.
We can do it.
I can get to there. I got in quotes here that what Jury 8 said, where he said, it's possible for a lawyer to be stupid. And I love that one bit of line there where it's like, yeah. And that immediately breaks it down, like breaking down roles to just everyone's a human playing a role.
Yeah.
Which is like, no one's this transcendent thing of superiority. It's like, that kid's just a kid. That kid's just like a human. The lawyer who clearly was slacking was literally just a human. So he didn't like, he's not the be all end all. I'm just a human, and so are you. It's like that's the whole point of this film, where it breaks things down to like, just because you have a role of a hierarchy, that's not you. You're just, you got to that point. But you still got a mind like anyone else.
Exactly. I think what a lot of what this film is breaking that kind of stuff down and saying we're all just people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's no really better way of showing that in a film than just slapping 12 people that are just people in a room and making them shout at each other for a bit.
12 very different people.
Yes.
All of
12
them are
very different men.
12 very different. Imagine if that was the... It wouldn't
12 very different men, 11 of them are sweaty. Full title.
And then my last point on the page is another piece of quote. Is Juror 8 says, could people be wrong? Juror 12, well, no. Juror 8, you know so? Juror 12, no one could know a thing like that.
Yeah.
Like,
so good.
Like,
it's so good.
It's such a turnaround thing where he goes like, oh, well, she saw that happen.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, couldn't people wrong? And then to which, well, no one could be wrong. Well, do you know? Well, no one could be certain. Literally just fucking said. You literally just...
God damn it.
There's so many like amazing like comebacks. I've got one specific one which I may as well say it now. It's about goes, the kid don't even speak good English. And then Juror 11 goes, doesn't speak good English. And then just has that shitty grin on his face like, yeah, just shut up, mate. Shut up.
And it's brilliant that was a line given by the one foreign guy on the jury.
Yeah.
Perfect. So good.
Next to a guy who was complaining, who's clearly like, who would be, this is the most political I'm going to get, who would be Trump 2020.
Yes. 100%.
We need to keep America pure. That's
Yes.
exactly what he is. Without saying that. He never gets like
exactly.
that. But you clearly know, because the kid that gets shown, I think it's been said that he's an Hispanic kid. I think that's what it's been.
Okay.
His race has officially been said as Hispanic.
Right.
Which again, I think is even more relevant in today's time.
Yeah. Very poignant.
Which is, God, 1957, Robbie. This film's 63.
It's so...
This film's 63 years old, and how are we still talking about similar things?
Yeah.
This film is over half a century.
It's disappointing, isn't it?
But
it's so... This is what's baffling me about watching Lumet's films, is that there's so much of the issues that are still prevalent today that he was exploring them.
Yeah.
And talking about.
Yeah.
And trying to break ground on. It baffles me that we're still talking about it when people were bringing it up back then.
Oh, yeah. And, like, we can definitely say, like, right, stick Serpico on to show anyone about police power play. Stick Dog Day Afternoon on for, any multiple reasons about
homosexuality.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And then stick this on for, you could look at race, you could look at social beliefs, you could look at, like, the way people, like, social, I'm trying to think of the word for it. First impressions. I think that's like, a good way to, like...
Prejudice,
that's the word I'm looking for.
Oh,
yeah, like social prejudice. Like in anything. It's not just race with this film.
No, it's like anything. Where the people are from, where they live.
It's literally don't judge a book by its cover. The whole film.
That's the whole thing.
Do you want to get a few more points? Because the point that my next point, I would just read my next point and we'll meet up to that scene. Okay. The same knife.
Oh, mate. It's so good.
It's so fucking good, man. And it's that zoom of, like, Jira 4 going, like, you see this? That's a very uniquely strange knife.
Yeah.
The boy admits he has that knife. Have you ever seen another knife like that? I haven't. It had to be his. That shot, the knife. Jira 8 stands up, reaches in his pocket, gets the knife, flicks the blade, sticks it down on the table, and everyone's like, wait a minute!
Everyone's like, where did you get that?
Yeah.
It's like they thought he'd cloned it or something. Yeah. Everyone's like, oh my god, where did you get that knife? It's the same knife. Like, yeah, it's just another one. Like
You would have thought he stood up and went, and then it just, like,
it just appeared.
Like,
No, it's just... I love that scene so much.
That's a scene that, like, every time I get someone else to watch that's always a scene. Like, a friend of mine years ago, I told him to watch it, like, I think in 2013.
Yeah.
And I went, watch it, it's my favourite film, you just have to fucking see it. And I got a message from him saying, like, holy shit, it's the same knife!
It's the fact that throws... that I think that's the first time when I was like... okay, now I'm on his side. Because before that, it was the whole thing of him just going like, well, maybe there's a possibility that people could be wrong or whatever. And then he just flicks out the knife and puts it down, and I'm like, okay, now the evidence seems wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's the first time when you're like, shit, yeah, he's probably onto something here.
And it's also that other little, we're talking about little small bits of dialogue, is when they all sit back down and Juror 2 goes to Juror 3, he goes, oh, that's interesting that he found the same knife. He goes, what's interesting about it? It's the same knife. I don't know, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
It's just like cool little things like that, which I want to throw a fun little fact. It's not really much. It's not worthy for being a trivia fact because it's not necessarily relevant to the film. John Fiedler, who plays Juror 2, was the original voice of Piglet.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. That's so great.
I discovered that like 2 years ago. I'm like, wait, Piglet's in my favourite film ever.
Brilliant.
And Jack Klugman, who plays Juror 5, was in the original Odd Couple, the original TV show of The Odd Couple.
Brilliant. Of course he was.
Again, but yeah. But like a lot of this film was like a lot of unknowns that got their start through 12 Angry Men. Like, that's what a lot of this... Henry Fonda was the biggest name to it, then maybe Lee J. Cobb was also on that level, but yeah. But yeah, I just want to throw that little fun fact out there. But anyway.
I love that. I put... when the whole Noughts and Crosses thing happened, I said oh shit out loud. As soon as it pans across to it, I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna kick off here, lads.
I couldn't believe, every time I see that, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, every time it's like, what the fuck is happening? What is this?
And then he freaks out. He goes, the nerve, the absolute. I'm like, the nerve of him. What about you?
He started playing noughts and crosses in the middle of him making his point.
Yeah, you're making the argument to him, and then he starts talking. Goes, oh, this is not interesting. Let me just.
I thought my next point, which I feel like skips along a bit, is a quote from Juror 3. There's a point where he's talking about the old guy, and he's like, he's an old man. He was confused. He couldn't be certain about anything. And
I got that. Yeah, I got that.
He just stops for a minute, and the camera lingers on his face, and he goes like, "Oh fuck, I've kind of completely shot myself in the foot."
God, I just like it's fuck's sake, man. It's honestly things like that. It's like it's the pause, then you go, oh.
Oh no!
It's like I don't think I've ever had such like I've never had reactions to dialogue like this again.
Yeah,
ever.
like real proper visceral reactions to it. Like I was looking at him going like, "You've absolutely fucked it, you idiot."
There's so many moments, and it's like when I first watched it, I was like, "This is incredible. This is the best piece of dialogue that I've ever seen in my life." And of course, like it's my first time seeing it, and I'm still new to like getting in a film, so I thought like, I'll probably like find more. And all the Tarantino films I've seen, all the Wes Anderson films I've seen, every other film that I've seen. I'm not saying every film because I've got many on my watch list still, and that I always will. But like, I've seen so many films since then. 8 years later, and I go back to this film like I don't think I've seen any better still.
No.
Because there's
it's so strategic.
There's wittier.
What I love about it.
There's wittier pieces of dialogue that I've seen.
Yeah.
Like you go to any Edgar Wright film, like he has like nice little quick fire.
Any
dialogue.
joke in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
All the motifs and whatever.
There's wittier films. There's probably more quotable films, even though there's a good few lines that I still quote to this day, like always.
Yeah.
But I can't think. And I've seen other films where it takes place all in one location, like similar films. But there's never been one that's like this. And I honestly think, right, you can't really do. I mean, I need to watch more courtroom dramas because it's a genre that I am actually quite interested in. I loved the People vs. O.J. Simpson miniseries that happened. I'm just fascinated by like court, like storylines in films anyway. I need to get more, but like I don't think like. But what I find very interesting, you get many courtroom dramas set in the court, many of them.
Yeah.
You can't do another jury room drama without being like, so you're just 12 Angry Men.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I feel like this film has just like solidified itself so much in that playing field where it's like every other film just going to be like, well, you're not 12 Angry Men though.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, this is a weird comparison, but for me, it's like any American teen comedy that I see. I'm always like, well, you're not Superbad though, are you?
Oh, interesting.
Like any modern one.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't really like Booksmart last year. I saw it. I was like, yeah, it's all right, but it's just Superbad, but not as funny.
I think we're leaning more in terms of that regard. We're leaning more to a different vibe of teen comedy.
Yeah. Because otherwise, I'd
to get away from that, I think to get away from that comparison, because like that happened, and then all films just try to be super bad.
Exactly.
And I think
it's the same thing here.
Yeah. I mean, 12 Angry Men has had a long life. Again, like it started as a teleplay. It became this film. It had and then it got adapted into a stage play, which was very successful in the 60s.
Oh wow! I can imagine that being really interesting to see.
And it comes back every now and then as well.
Yeah.
And in 1997, William Friedkin did a TV adaptation of the film, with Jack Lemmon and George C. Scott in the roles.
Oh, right.
Jack Lemmon is Juror 8 and George C. Scott's Juror 3, which I still need to see that. And in 2007, I think it's an Iranian film. Another a Middle Eastern, I think it's Middle East. That like side of the world did a film that was called 12, which wasn't officially a 12 Angry Men remake, but everyone says it just is because it was, which I still need to see. But it's amazing like how long this film, like it's just relevant. It's had such a long life, and I think that's the best way you can do it, because otherwise, if you do, we're doing a jury room drama, and it's like, so you're just 12 Angry Men.
Yeah.
I think like other films have the spin on it where they go, it's 12 Angry Men meets this, like as in like it's set in one room, but not a jury room. Like that's like the closest you can get to it without being like,
it's 12 Angry Men, but it's a cafe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, but I think like, but through that you get these types of films where it's like, you get those types of films, but I don't think there's any other premise that just sinks more wonderfully than a courtroom, than a jury.
No.
Because it's like, it's a quick, easy thing. 12 guys, they don't know each other anyway, and they're discussing a murder. Like, that's the film.
I think it's perfect setup. No matter what you take away from that, if it's at least competently written,
Yes.
it can be interesting because that setup is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Of just 12 guys going into a room talking about this one thing that's happened.
Yep.
And none of them know each other, and they're all very different.
Yep. I got next bit. No, I go, hey, I love the little use of score, and I got in the quotes, I'll call for another vote. It's right before, it's when he says, I'll call for another vote, and then he walks away.
Yeah.
And he goes, right, if it's 11-0, then we'll just call it guilty. And he walks away, and then there's that bit of score. And it's like, oh, fuck. It's so good.
Oh!
So I love, like, little uses of score, and then when you use a score to make it that more, like impactful, like, really, man. It's just, again, Dog Day Afternoon did it. Like, well, that had no score, but...
Yeah.
But
it was, you could tell that there was a reason there was no score. And here, there's a reason why there's minimalist score, because when the score is used, it's that much more impactful.
I get emotional every time the end happens. I don't know why. It gets me. And then again, that thing where, again, prejudice, judgment, where it's 10-1 for not... and then immediately Juror 3 walks up behind Juror 5. He goes, all right then, go on then. Why'd you change it? Just because he gives you a sob story about a kid from the slums? And then he goes like, I did. and then Juror 9 has to be like, no, I did.
Yeah.
And Simon was like, do you want to know why? And then he goes, no, I don't want to know why. And then it's Juror 6 who stands up, who goes, hey, don't talk to a man like that. Don't talk to an old man like that. Which I love that bit about that character. Because again, in the teleplay, that's not in there.
Oh.
The teleplay's only an hour long. So it's not like long. But like, you don't like, I like that moment with that character. Because again, that gives him something to do. It's like, he's protective to the older generation. And that plays a lot more into it as well, like later on. Where he once again goes, if you talk to a man like that again, I'll smack you in the jaw. Now go on. Now you say whatever you want to say. It's just, again, you can imagine him like, just like he's a nice, loving guy. He's a neighborhood friendly bloke. But if you're gonna be a bastard to anyone, you have him to speak to. Like that's like.
But I think what's interesting about us talking about that, is the fact that I'd say he's probably the juror that gets the least play in the whole thing. Yeah. But he's still such a defined character. Yeah. Because of the very, very strategically placed specific dialogue that tells you who that guy is and what he's like, and I think that's so good.
There's one specific moment, which is my next point actually, that he has one of my favourite moments in the entire film. Right, the bathroom scene is amazing, and it's the moment where like they go in. He talks to Juror 6 for a bit. And he walks out. Yeah. Then Juror 5 comes in. Juror 6 comes in. Yeah, Juror 6.
He was talking to Juror 7 before.
Yeah, then Juror 6 comes in. And I got in quotes. It's the bit that leads up to that. Where Juror 8 says, supposing something. And then to which he goes, I'm not a man for supposing. I'll leave that to my boss, but I'll give this a go. Suppose you talk us all out of this and the kid really did knife his father.
Yeah.
And then immediately, because at that point you're already starting to side with Fonda at that bit. And then he brings that up.
But I hadn't even considered that though.
Yeah, and then he brings that up and it's like, oh shit, yeah, that is a strong possibility.
Yeah.
Because now you're
It's
imagining.
like, yeah, good point.
Because now you're imagining all these cases that we hear about, and you hear about people getting accused, and you hear people go like, "Well, of course he did it," and then you hear a jury go like, "I mean, a big one is O.J. Simpson."
Yeah.
And then he got acquitted, which is like,
Yeah.
I mean, most people's reaction is like, "How did he get fine innocent?"
Yeah.
And it's like, you look at that, and it's like, yeah, they doing that.
And
With
now
it
he just
all.
plays golf on his Twitter,
The
and
fact,
everyone calls him a murderer in the comments.
the fact that man has a Twitter.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange to look at.
But anyway, like that moment Amelia said, and then I think that's a big oneer as well. I don't think there's a single cut in that scene either.
Not in the toilet scene, no.
Yeah, which
How?
like again, like there's two different pieces of like technically two scenes in quotes in that.
Yeah, because he talks to Seven, and then Seven leaves, and Six comes in.
Yeah, and it's like I couldn't imagine like I would. We would get told. We wouldn't get told off. We would get told, why you're not setting. We'll get accused of being lazy. That's what we would get done.
Why are you not cutting at all?
Why are you not doing many dynamic camera angles? It's like, because look how fucking good it is.
It's an artistic show.
Like,
It's an artistic choice, Hutch. I'm sorry.
It's like, because look how good it looks.
Yeah.
You're telling me I got three actors like that who are doing amazing, and you want me to cut? I
No.
wouldn't be like I wouldn't be like that at all with him. I'd be like, oh, it's just I just think it looks good.
Yeah, I just
I wouldn't step up.
I thought it served the story well, and I can go if you want. We'll refilm it.
Meanwhile, Jack comes and goes, no, right, listen, this is why it's best off. Yeah, let the cinematographer do the big talking to.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, I just love that scene so much. Like, yeah, man. In quotes here, the old man might want attention. That's an interesting thought. Which that's something you don't think about as well. Because if this, I don't know, at this point, it wouldn't have been, like, court cases wouldn't have been filmed, I don't think. I think that implemented, like, in the 70s or 80s, I think.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been that. But you know what I mean? Like, it's, like, again, there's moments that they fling in there where it goes, oh, yeah, that's a possibility. And now you're building a world around it all. It's not literally just like, it's not just kid might have killed dad. Let's talk about it. It's like, let's talk about the witnesses. Because that's a legitimate thing. He goes, well, why the old man would have wanted life? Maybe attention.
Yeah.
Maybe he might have heard something, but, who knows?
He doesn't know. He could have just heard muffles, and now he just wants to be, seen in public and stuff. Because the public can come to the court hearing.
Which I don't think I've read that. I don't think I've written it down. That scene where they break that down of the old man walking.
I've got a note on that. Because it's shot really well. Like when it's following the feet of him dragging the feet. I also made a note, put nice Laurel and Hardy reference. Because Seven starts whistling the Laurel and Hardy theme.
And
well
then
done.
Tu's like, hey, knock it off.
Yeah. So I like that quite a lot. Big Laurel and Hardy fan. I like it to be recognised. But that scene itself is shot so well. Of just tracking Henry Fonda, and the fact that he drags the foot and it's following the feet, and it's like, yeah, oh, it's good, isn't it?
Hey, come on, he can walk twice as fast as that. All right, then you want me to walk
Alright, I'll
twice?
speed up.
And it's like, yeah, that's a good logistic thing with it.
Yeah.
And they bust out the apartment. He goes, right, this is the boy's apartment. It's the exact same layout as the old man's from downstairs. This is it gets you invested. It's like when the camera pushes in, you're almost like leaning in. Be like,
yeah, and when he's watching it, I'm like, fuck, I hope this is more than 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it is, and you're like, oh, yes, get in there.
It is almost like, come on, yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, by that point, you are like almost like kind of like the optimistic side is peeking out.
Yeah.
In the sense that you want to like think that the kid didn't do it.
Yeah.
And you want to be like, watch that moment. It's fucking good, man. But yeah, it seems like that. Like when they break down everything, it's almost like mini films in those scenes.
Oh yeah.
It's like, right, we broke that down with the old man. Let's break down this of the woman, and let's break this down with the blah 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 blah. It's just, it's almost simple, but it doesn't need to be any more complex.
No, exactly.
Really, I think the complexity comes of you watching it and what your mind is doing as you're watching these. That's where the complexity comes into it.
Yeah, because you're invested, and you're thinking, "Shit, what is actually going to happen? Is everyone going to get turned around and all these kind of things?" And I like as well that, and this is skipping ahead a bit, but there's
Fine.
Juror 12 flips back again.
Yeah,
he goes back to guilty at one point, and I was like, "Oh shit, is it going to start going the other way?"
Yeah,
again?
because if the film was literally just, and then he's not guilty, then he's not guilty, it would have just kind of been a bit of a flow. But it's that one moment where he goes, not guilty, guilty. It's like, oh no, oh god damn it.
And you're thinking like, "Oh no, it is more people going to go back the other way."
Yeah,
And it's going to all have been for naught.
yeah, because they could have very well have done that.
Yeah.
They could have
Very easily.
They could have very well have been like, oh yeah, you actually make a good point. They could have
Yeah.
they could have swung the angle of like, well, all you're saying is it could have possibly happened. You're not really saying like, fine facts. You're saying like, maybe.
You're saying that there's a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Which is a phrase thrown around a lot in this film.
Which is a big court phrase as well. which is if there's any reasonable doubt, then you must.
Yeah, say not guilty.
Which I find very, because I watched a little special feature on the Blu-ray that has some court people actually talking about it, and they're saying it's good, but like you get given like a quiz before, like a survey before a court, and if any of those jury members would have filled that survey, none of them would have been put on this case because they all have motives of some sort.
Okay.
So this moment, I mean, makes for brilliant film.
Exactly.
But yeah, if
they were all entirely impartial, it'd be boring ass.
Yeah, it's like that's one of my favorite, because it's like it does like break it down into real. Like I will never want to be in an actual jury because it's like it's not going to be as fun as that.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
It's like in one of Kevin Smith's evenings he said about like when he got involved in like a lawyer case or something like that. He goes, and it's not like 12 Angry Men where people are like, oh no, it's just like people talking about logistics, and it's just fucking boring. Just so boring. I got here where it just goes, he don't even speak good English, doesn't speak good English. Just to love that comeback.
Yeah.
The possibility of a young lawyer not putting his all into a murder case is interesting. And again, the film brings so many things like that. It's like, now I'm thinking about this lawyer who we never see.
No.
We've never.
At no point.
And now I'm like, oh yeah, that's a point. He could just be like, oh, I'll just take this case, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll get paid.
Get the money for it.
Yeah, I'll get paid, but I don't know my life to this kid.
Yeah.
Which again, because he might have been thinking of like a thing where it's like, no one's gonna miss him. He's a kid. He's a kid from like, he's got no real family. He's a kid from, the slums. It won't be a big news thing if he gets sent to the chair.
Yeah.
So my career's not gonna be fucked if this is it.
Well, I always think that I thought with that is it another example of prejudice, where the lawyer that's meant to be defending this kid also just assumes and is like, yeah, but he probably did it, didn't he? So I don't have to put my all into this.
And the kid isn't really like talking to him.
Yeah.
He's not like people who are like, no, what about this? What about this? He's just on his own with this guy just saying stuff for him.
Yeah, just this 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Who could like. He doesn't really know what's happening. He's got no one to defend him. He's got no one around him because his dad's now obviously dead. I think they say his mum left or something.
Yeah, his mum left him, yeah.
So it's just him.
Which, again,
and this guy that he's never met.
Which you could even break that down into the fact is like, well, no one's going to look good on that side of things.
Yeah.
If everyone's just if the one guy defending you is kind of like, and everything else is just like, yeah, I saw that happen. Yeah, I heard him scream. Yeah, he's a bad kid anyway. No one's going to look good.
No. Unless you actually look at the facts like they do in the room.
Yeah.
And realise that the evidence is probably not correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I got here in quotes. This is Juror 11 that said this when he goes, I made some notes. On the surface, the boy looks guilty, but if we dive deeper, I got ... It's like, again, like,
Yeah.
which is what we've kind of been saying there, where it goes, yeah, he could look bad, but how I think.
But realistically, you know.
Again, yeah, Juror 11's really fucking good in this. He is almost like the...
He's just kind of like a lovely, innocent man.
Yeah, I think at this point he's still siding guilty, even at this point as well. Yeah, he is. Even at this point, he's still siding guilty. And again, I'll go on quotes. Juror 12 said, if I were the boy, and he go, if the film is full of characters putting themselves in the place of the accused, perspective more people need to have.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of a thing in this film where it goes, like, if I were to do this, if I did that, because then you're thinking to yourself, well, what is my mindset in that situation?
Yeah.
Which I think is just a general thing people need anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
People are very
100%.
quick. People are very quick to be like, fuck him.
Well, I think that applies now with people that, if something's going on Twitter or something, people that just read the headline and go off what the rest of Twitter are saying as opposed to reading the facts and forming their own opinion. I think it's again a Lumet film being very poignant to today.
I feel like if you need any form, if you're trying to log on to any form of social media, you need to get this film in front of you before you even like click confirm.
Exactly. Before you tick the box for your terms and agreements without reading anything like an idiot. But we all do it anyway, so it's fine. Watch 12 Angry Men before you go on Twitter.
Yeah, like right as soon as you click agree, and then 12 Angry Men starts playing.
It should just be that.
And then even if you click off it, every time you go back to it, it just resumes playing.
Yeah, it should just say, do you want to watch the terms and conditions? And you go and watch the terms and conditions. You click agree, it comes up with 12 Angry Men, you just watch it for an hour and a half.
And you go like...
And go, oh shit, yeah.
And goes, okay, I don't know how that was relevant. And then you like go on social media and you go, oh yeah, that's why that was relevant.
Yeah.
Or like it's...
And
like,
I feel like I've learnt a lesson.
Or like if you're going to like post something that's horrific and they stop you from hitting the post button and then just that flashes up again. Because remember
12 Angry Men.
Goes,
you go, oh shit, yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't call this guy an absolute bitch for no reason.
It just pops up and says, you're being a bit of a Juror 3 right now, lad. And you're like, oh shit, yeah, I am.
They change your profile picture to like Juror 10.
Yeah.
Juror 8's points are sometimes repetitive. It's the conversation with everyone that stimulates the other's opinions that I got down. Like, because there's points where he just kind of says the same thing a bit too much. And what I love as well, there's a point where he doesn't even there's a good point where I don't think Juror 8 is initiating any of the conversation. It's just other people talking, and other people are starting to make the points. And
kind of defending him and what he's saying.
Yeah, because
even if they don't agree with it entirely.
Yeah, because if you look, Juror 8 is a big listener in the film as opposed to a big talker, which I think, you know what, I genuinely think that's like key to a good main character.
Yeah.
Like, give him personality, establish him or her, establish they.
Yes.
Establish them. And then, like, allow the supporting cast to start telling stories or start voicing their opinions and having the protagonist be the listener to the stuff. Louis C.K. does that wonderfully in Horace and Pete, his miniseries. His character, Horace, doesn't really say much, but everyone else does.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really key thing to fledging out everything in a film, is letting the protagonist be the listener.
Yeah.
The exchange of smile between 11 and 8 when 11 votes not guilty is genuinely lovely. I love it so much. I don't know why. It's the bit where he goes, not guilty, and then he turns, and then there's just that like smile, like, I got you, bro.
Yeah, that's like, proud of you, dude.
That needs to be a meme of like, got you, bro.
Yeah, got you, lad. It's something like that.
when you forgot to bring your when you don't have a contactless card, so your mate pays for your drink instead.
Yeah, yeah. Just that like looking down the thing, like
I got you. Don't worry, mate. I got Apple Pay. It's fine.
I've been relying on Apple Pay recently. Irrelevant, but
I need
really
to get
have.
it. I need to get it because for some reason Lloyd's isn't sending me a contactless card.
Oh,
so that's
fucking this. We're calling you out publicly, Lloyd's.
So that'll be awkward for me. You know what? If we lived in Amsterdam, they're moving away from cash anyway. Most of their shops are card only anyway, so they've been ahead of the curve. I wasn't just bringing it up randomly. I was
gonna say, it's like if we lived in Amsterdam, I'm like, what are you talking about? Where's this going?
Not specifically you and me. I mean, just like if you and I got a apartment in Amsterdam, we chilled there.
We could probably have a good time. That's what you were going into.
We have a lovely time in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You can bring Julie if you want. You can bring Julie. I could bring Gary. It could be a lovely time.
Yeah, it could be a lovely double day.
That's a fucking mini series if I ever thought of one. The four of us in Amsterdam. Anyway, enough of that. Where am I at? Oh, there. Yeah, right. Going quotes during as what we already said anyway. He's an old man. How could he be positive about anything?
Yeah.
And then I got the pauses after intense exchanges of dialogue gives me chills.
It really does.
Like you need to know how to use silence, man, in films. This is like a beautiful example of it.
Yeah.
I got it, and then we're up to this bit here, in quotes. I'll kill him. You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you? And I got this following, in quotes, slip through our fingers. What are you, his executioner? I'm one of them. Is powerful character building, and we've still got 36 minutes left.
Yeah.
No, character arc building. That's an arc right there. And yet we still got everything else to happen.
It's so good. Do you know what? I feel like this is skipping ahead, but I'm not sure.
Go for it.
Because I haven't got a lot of notes left. But the bit when he's showing how he would stab him, and everyone just shits their pants. It shows you how high the tensions have got, because the guy just like he's like this, and then he raises the knife like that to show how he would do the motion, and then just him doing that, everyone goes, "Whoa, what the fuck are you doing?" It's like he's not gonna stab him, is he? But that just shows how on edge everyone's got in the whole thing.
Oh man,
it's so good.
Again, perfect. Like that moment there, that moment, like the way he lunges, and again, that moment where he lunges for him. That's the only moment where it almost gets physical.
Yeah,
and you're almost like shit. Like Jesus Christ, my back of my seat just fell down. Hang on. Fuck it. Hang on.
Brilliant.
I'm so intense that my computer chair is designed to like fall on me.
It's all right, mate.
But yeah, it is. And I think doesn't the camera like pull back as well when it happens?
Yeah.
Like it is almost like a. And again, you don't mean you'll kill me, do you? And then he just kind of like, and then that close up on Lee J. Cobb, just like, you got me again? How is this happening?
What is going on?
How is this happening? That's a moment I always think of. I'm like, I think about that moment every time. Again, it doesn't happen all the time. People don't tell me they're going to kill me, because that just doesn't happen. It doesn't. That's kind of being outdated now. No one kind of like gets that aggressive. I'll kill you.
Yeah, that doesn't particularly happen now.
It's more like I'll beat the shit out of you. That's like
exactly.
And if you go, you don't really mean that. He goes, no, I am. I do honestly mean that.
Yeah.
You can't really pull a Jurate there, can you? I'm gonna fucking kick your head in. You don't really mean that, do you? No, I will.
Yeah, I do. I will.
Yeah, but yeah, that moment, it's like, and we still got 36 minutes left. How is, I don't get it. Like, we had an arc, and yet the arc continues going.
It's impeccable.
Oh, it's
it really is.
Go on.
Go on. I was gonna say I've only got 3 notes left.
Yeah, go on. You just throw them out. Yeah.
My first one of those 3 would be the bit when he's sweating.
Yeah.
I'd put he's sweating with an exclamation mark. Because I mean, if you have listened to the podcast, if you have listened to the podcast without seeing the film, for context, earlier in the film, Juror 5 says to Juror 4, "You don't sweat, do you?" And Juror 4 goes, "No, I don't sweat." And then there's a point where they like throw it. I cannot remember at what point it comes. I can't remember if it's the glasses bit.
It's the glasses bit.
Or is it the glasses bit?
Yeah.
And you just see one singular trickle of sweat going down his forehead, and you're like, "Oh shit, they've got him!
Yeah.
They've totally got him!" It was so satisfying. As soon as it happened, I was like, "That is such perfect setup."
That's a bit of dialogue that was added for the film that wasn't in the teleplay. The sweat.
It's perfect.
It is.
Like, I have never seen a more satisfying setup and payoff to the smallest thing in the world.
I haven't lost my shit over a single drip of sweat in my life except for that.
It's so well
How
done.
did Lumet get me excited and hyped up to see a bead of sweat drip down a man's forehead?
It's so perfectly set up.
And yet,
just that one exchange that seems like it's completely meaningless.
Oh,
at
it
the
does.
time.
Yeah, it just
It
seems
feels like it's just
like kind of like daft little character thing where it goes, "I never sweat." Like that's just how it like feels at first.
Yeah. It feels like it's just setting up his character to be this like stone cold guy, and you're like, yeah, I guess it's character set up, and it's a fun little exchange of dialogue. And then as soon as it comes back into play, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because
that is brilliant.
Because at that point, we've had many like, kind of like, not integral exchanges in the film.
Yeah.
Like the things like, "Oh, I find it interesting," or like, "I never knew
And
they."
the baseball thing as well, like.
Yeah, like I never knew they locked the door. Like that never comes back really. It's
Yeah.
just a thing. It's not like they all try to escape and the door's locked or anything. I'm not fucking.
No, exactly. It's just a nice little character beat, I guess.
Yeah, but so you just think that it's like, hey, didn't you sweat? No. But you just think, oh, it's just gonna be whatever.
Yeah.
And then it is that moment, and it's like, God damn it! Again, perfect. I can't wait till I get that point in the script of like how that's written.
Yeah.
Because that's because as like a writer, that you could just imagine how fun that is to write.
Yeah.
Like
paying that off is. I love a setup and a payoff, man.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
And there's several in this film.
Yeah.
There's several.
So many.
In this
and they're all
90-minute
set up through
film.
dialogue.
Exactly.
Which is insane to me. My next one, I put That's Heartbreaking in reference to when you find out about Juror 3
Yeah,
at the end.
I'll get to that, yeah.
Which we'll go into more detail afterwards. And then my last note was I love the fact that it wraps up quickly.
Yeah.
Because
I think
when you find out something heartbreaking like that, you expect there to be a big like, and this is my tragic origin story, full scene. But it's not. He just goes, yeah, alright, not guilty.
Yeah.
And then everyone just fucks off.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
It's that and the ending of Whiplash that are generally my two favourite endings.
Yeah.
Like,
because the end, like someone could argue to me that the ending seems rushed, and I'd go, yeah, I guess, because nothing really happens, except it's not, because you don't need any more.
I was gonna say, what more do you want?
Yeah.
Like, do you want them all to go and get a pint?
Like, I've heard that about the ending of Whiplash, about it being incredibly abrupt.
I mean,
and like it is, but that's the point.
Yeah.
You don't need any more.
Yeah.
You know.
Again,
and I think
yeah,
it's perfect. It's a really great ending.
I'll talk about more about the ending. There,
yeah.
But yeah, I'll continue my notes.
So you go through.
And we can continue what would just a conversation there. I got here. Lumet knows how to communicate heat. Like just like that film feels warm. It feels hot.
It feels really fucking hot and claustrophobic.
And
by the end of it.
it helps that we're in summer right now, so it's just hot anyway.
Yeah, but even when he opened the window and it was raining, and the rain started coming in, I was like, yeah, but I bet it's that kind of rain where it's like it's hitting you, but it's so warm outside anyway that it's humid and sticky and shit.
That freaked me the fuck out because I had my window open and a fan going in my room, and then genuinely a rainfall like that happened over Hartlepool for like a few minutes, like round.
We got one of those last night.
Yeah, like round about when that scene happened, I was like,
Terrifying.
it's just like this is like 4D if there ever was one.
Yeah.
I got here in quotes, Juror 11, I beg pardon? Juror 10, what are you so polite for? Then Juror 11 goes, for the same reason you're not. I was brought up that way. And then I got,
yes.
And I got, it's a fun little, it's like, way, fucking owned you, mate. It's one of those again. But I also got in notes here how someone is raised and prejudgment through parental influencing is key to this.
Yeah.
Which again we can bring, because again like you bring it up in there how I was saying for the same reason you're not, I was brought up that way, which again could be looked in a way of like but it also looks like oh yeah he probably wasn't,
which is again very poignant. I would say to now. And
even Juror 3 also has a thing of like kids don't even call their father sir. When I was a kid I had to call my father sir.
Yeah.
And it goes like you could have raised your kid like that, but also you can look at it in the sense like people can be raised a certain way, but they don't want to be that way.
Yeah.
So it could be looked at like you need to raise your kid a certain way, but also you can look at it again. They're human. They're not robots. You can't just program them to think away. You can influence them a certain sense, but at the end of the day, they're going to have their own thoughts about things. Which,
exactly.
Again, you could look at that in the sense of like the kid got himself in this situation because of the way he was raised. Everyone in that jury room has the attitude that they do because of how they were raised. It's just, again, there's so many elements to this where you can look, again, like Dog Day Afternoon, you can pick so much apart of bringing things in the mind of like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Oh yeah, that's a good point. And again, in a film, all in one room that is 90 minutes long.
It's so layered, but compact.
You can't cut anything.
Nothing. No. There's no, like, not a single line of dialogue, not a single scene that I would cut out of this film because it's so perfect in the way that it's delivered. Mm-hmm. And what it's delivering to the audience is, it knows exactly what it's doing.
Mm-hmm. And I got here, don't you ever sweat? No, I don't, which we've talked about. Brilliant, beautiful. The storm can signal a cool down period between jurors, is what I've thought at this point. Because at that point, the storm happens. Juror 1 helps 8 shut the window, and he then talks about a storm on a football game. And at this point, both of them have opposing guilty, not guilty verdicts. And he's just casually talking about the fact how he's like, oh yeah, there was a storm like this on a football game once. And then I got here, it makes so much sense that one is a high school football coach.
Yeah.
In the exact way he's talking. Again, it makes so much sense. But yeah, again, that moment where they just sat just looking at the rain and just chatting. It's like, you both think two different things. And the room's gotten like quite heated anyway. And now everything's a bit, bit calmer. The fan gets switched on. And like, hey, it must have been collecting the light switch. And then Juror 7 throws the bits of paper, which is like, why? Why are you doing that?
It's so like, it's another thing about the prejudice and the differences between people and everything. But you can all kind of connect about the smallest thing, like just talking about the weather. Yeah. And going, oh shit, weather out, innit? Yeah. You can just, and I really liked that.
There's something endearing about it. I think. Seeing movie characters just discuss things. Yeah. And again, like, we're saying, like, there's nothing you can cut. People might argue, you can cut the bit where Juror 7's throwing the scrumple bits of paper at the fan. I'm like, I don't even know that, because that adds more to him about, like, he just does something because why the fuck not? Because it's like, you think back, it's like, well, what are you why?
Yeah, you go, like, you'd ask, I feel like it's one of those guys where you'd ask him and be like, why have you done that? He'd go, funny.
Yeah.
Just it's funny, innit?
He would. He honestly would. Because there's the moment where Juror 11 goes to him like, "Why? Why did you change your mind?" He goes, "I don't have to. I don't have to." It's like, you do have to. Say it.
Yeah, it's when he says like,
and he goes,
just because I'm sick of this, and everyone's like, well, that's not a reason, is it? It's just because you're bored. I mean, you can change your mind.
Because even Juror 3 is like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like he's not like getting angry because he's like, oh, you're now saying not guilty. It's like, what do you mean you're just sick of it? Like
you can't just say it because the majority's gone with it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fine, not guilty. And then he goes like, oh, why? He goes, I just think he's not guilty. And then it's like 11 kind of stops because he's like, I'm going to win it. Like, it's like you always get the sense like he's just a bit dense, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he's not like stupid, but
yeah, he's not an idiot, but he's
a bit like your brain shuts off when something gets too challenging. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, I don't know, it just is. Because why though? Oh, it's like, oh, it's fine. I'm not gonna bother.
Fine, whatever.
You're not doing any harm. You're just an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
And and you can look at that. He's a salesman. It's almost like the fact he's a salesman. You can almost look at that like, oh, has he like bought into his own bullshit?
Yeah.
Because as a salesman, you need to believe everything you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, again, little things like that. Brilliant. The close-up when Juror 8 is asking Juror 4 about the movies and the additional sound effects of the rain is stellar tension building.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the bit where he sweats. It's not the glasses.
No, I'm sure it's the bit with the glasses.
I thought it was the bit with the when he's asking him about what he did on Monday night, and they're saying like, "Oh no, it's actually this," and he gets it wrong.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the glasses thing is just him changing his verdict.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it is so intense, that scene, the way that he's questioning him.
Yeah. Oh,
and then
I love it.
I like how it's Juror 2 that stands up to him as well. The most timid one is like, "Oh no, I've seen that, but it's amazing, it's beautiful, whatever it is."
No, because he thinks it's the Amazing Mrs. Bainwich. I've seen that. It's the Marvel. No, he thinks it's the Marvelous Mrs. Bainwich. He goes,
yeah,
I've seen that. It's the Amazing Mrs. Bainwich.
Yeah.
Fun fact: none of those films exist.
Yeah, I thought they didn't.
I tried at one point. I was like, "Where is it?" And then all that comes up is 12 Angry Men. I'm like, fair.
Yeah. Just watch this again. It's good.
Yeah, I'll just watch that again. Fine. But yeah, again, the rain sound effect is just like, again, it's good. It's just good at like almost having that nice calmness to it, and not even changing the sound effect at all, but just changing the tone of the scene. That rainfall has a completely different vibe to it.
Yeah, it has a completely different effect on the audience as the tension rises. It's gone from being this kind of calming, soothing background sound to being like a noise that won't stop, and you're like, fuck, this is getting really tense.
Like almost like a strong ticking sound.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, because I got here, then the sweat drips down his head, beautiful payoff, which,
so it. Good.
Again, I don't think I've ever been more excited to see a sweat.
Yeah.
When Juror 3 demonstrating the stab on Juror 8 is perfect, character dynamic communication. Because I love that bit as well, where he goes, all right then, right, I'll demonstrate. Okay, someone stand up, and Juror 8's already standing up.
Yeah.
And he goes, all right, you then. And I love that in the sense of like, Juror 8's kind of like, well, I'm already here then.
Might as well be me.
And he goes, and everyone's like, whoa, what are you doing? He goes, all right, calm down. No one's hurt, are they? He goes, yep, no one's getting hurt. It's that moment though, isn't it? Where it's like, fuck.
It's such like, you see the power struggle.
Yeah.
Because if you were going to break it down into like protagonist, antagonist, it's them two.
Yeah.
8's the protagonist, 3's the antagonist for the whole thing, and they're the ones that are at odds with each other. But God, yeah, that scene's so good. Like, and I love when 5 comes over and explains it.
Yes,
It's so
I
great.
got it here. Like when Five educates the room on the use of a switchblade, that's his character payoff. And I got everyone has a purpose in this case, and that's his. That's exactly his. Where he goes, I just want to say something that, you know, if he's, you know, no one would hold a blade like this because you would have to like do it. It's just not feasible.
Yeah.
So you would do flick up, and then they go. And if a boy like this, he wouldn't hold the blade like that, would he? He goes, not if he's experienced. Probably not. No.
Like I think it's the fact that he struck us as a character who is kind of ashamed of his past and where he came from.
That's why he says like when he goes like I didn't think about it because you just kind of try to block all that out.
Yeah, and then that payoff of him using his knowledge of where he came from is another great arc. That's very, very subtle and very small, but it's an arc and it's there.
Yeah, because you can almost look at the sense like because people might be like, well, why didn't he say it sooner? It's like because he probably didn't think about it.
Yeah,
he's probably thinking at that moment where the holding of the blade is brought into question, and he's probably thinking to himself, that doesn't seem right. Why doesn't that seem right to me? Oh yeah, that's why. And then he stepped like it feels rightly timed as well. And again, it's like down and in. That's how it would happen again, and that's putting yourself in the situation. He goes, my natural reaction would be to do this.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh shit, yeah. And then he goes, nah. If the kid lives in a slum and he already has a knife with him, he wouldn't be doing that with it. He would flick it up and
that.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah. Again, it's just, man, yeah, perfect.
Very good.
Here we go. Right. Last week I said that this film contains my favorite shot in any film ever.
Yes, I was confused.
The shot on 10 pulling out to reveal the whole room, turning their backs on him. It's my favorite shot from any film. From a one shot, relatively in. Oh yeah, because in one shot, a relatively two-dimensional character is broken down to a fully fledged human. And I go in quotes, listen to me. Then 4, I have. Now sit down and don't open your mouth again. Silence. And here's the thing. He never says another word after that.
Really?
Because even when he goes...
Oh, even when he gets asked, are you saying,
he just shakes
is he guilty?
Head.
He just shakes his head.
Yeah.
Oh, I never even realised that.
Which I try to keep an eye on that when he goes, sit down. Because the exact quote is, now sit down and don't open your mouth again.
So good.
Of course, that's like, but again, because his character is relatively like flat, surface level. I hate these people. Ugh.
Yeah.
And that one shot, I think, is almost like, again, you can look at it in a sense of like, it's a beautiful construction of prejudice in the sense of like, if no one's listening to them, then they'll
just stop.
Then they kind of think and they go, why is no one listening to me?
Yeah.
Because you can confront someone so often and all they do is like, shut up, you. But if you just go like literally when they start just, and it's that wall around him. God, it is my favorite shot of any film ever. Again,
it's again very poignant.
Again, there's other shots. Again, Zhang Yimou has had amazing cinematography. I can think of like many shots in Hero that I'm like, that's just gorgeous. Roger Deakins can does many shots in loads of his films. I'm like, that's a wonderfully beautiful shot. I love that so much. Emmanuel Lubezki with like Birdman is incredible.
Yeah.
This shot by Boris Kaufman in this film, it's just, I don't know, like that's, again, it's poignant. It's beautiful. It breaks down so much. A character develops instantly.
Yeah.
And he goes literally from one type to another type. And we know so much about him in that one.
Exactly,
moment. Yeah. And I also like kind of like how 4 is the one that doesn't like react. He's kind of still there. And even he goes, just shut up.
Exactly.
And he's on guilty as well.
I think it's so, again, it's another thing that's so like topical to today. If those people that have the thoughts and the prejudices aren't given a platform at all, if he'll just stop listening to them and don't rise to it and just block it completely, they have to stop because they have time to think to themselves.
Yeah, because no one's given them more to rant about.
Yeah.
So it's
so good.
And I like how each of them move at a point, like when they hear something, you go like, that's annoying. Or like, can't deal with that. Because at that point, they've all tried to tell him where he's wrong in his opinions on that matter. And he's clearly not, and it's 3-9 in favor of not guilty at that point. And then he stands up and he goes on this like tyrant about it all. And at that point, and then again, each of them are like, right, none of that. And again, that's probably my favorite, like, just still of a film. It's like that just wall around him.
Of everyone.
Yeah. It's so grand. And it's in this room.
That's what I mean. It baffles me that it's shot this well and there's that many interesting shots and it's all just one room.
Yes.
That's why I think the cinematography is so impressive to me, because they get so much out of that room.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got in quotes here. We 9 can't understand how you're so sure. That's when 8 is talking to 3. And at this point, he's looking almost right into the lens. And I've got here almost asking any possible viewers who think guilty to think about it. Again, a flip reverse of the previous shot. Again, it's that camera lower down, and Henry Fonda practically looks directly in the lens, goes, we 8 can't understand how you still think this way.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, it's like just little moments like that, like pseudo breaking the fourth wall, looking right into the person who might think guilty still, to be like, why?
And it's all done just through the placement of a camera.
Oh, yeah. When 4 changes his vote about the eyeglasses, he does so because a point was made that he can understand. And again, we've mentioned that in the sense all of them have, like, relevance.
Yeah.
And again, I love that because I remember first time watching it, me thinking to myself, how is he going to change his mind? Or is he? And then the point about the glasses, he goes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, he would be like...
It's as soon as something is logical to him.
Yeah.
That's when he changes.
Yeah, and then at that...
I love that.
And then, again, that scene, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That, like, end bit there. And then, like, then 3... Lee J. Cobb goes on that monologue, which is sensational, man.
Yeah, it's incredible.
He's a phenomenal actor. Especially in you just look at this film and goes like, this Lee J. Cobb, man, he's just... Because I think people have made jokes about like, oh, all he just screams. I'm like, he kind of like he's the bigger voice. He's the loudest voice. But that's because he's trying to get his like point. And again, what did we say he was? He was a service manager, didn't we? That's what the script says, I think.
A mail-in place or something.
A head of a messenger service. So
that's the one.
He's kind of like this, get that there, all that, whatever. So he's taken that to him. And again, I've got in quotes here, I've got all the facts here. And when he pulls out his wallet, it's now clear that this is personal to him. Which, I mean, you can read that anyway, but it's like, that's when he's made it obvious. And again, and then he rips the photo.
Yeah, that was the moment for me that was just, it's devastating, isn't it, to watch? It really is.
He gets angry, he rips it, and then he realizes what he's done, and then he's like in tears about it, and then he goes, not guilty. And I just got here, Lee J. Cobb as a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Like, man, like...
He's amazing. I don't think I've seen him in anything else.
He's in The Exorcist. He's in there. So,
oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Which we'll get to in October.
Yes. the spooky season.
More on that in the future. But yeah, but I think he's also in again on the waterfront. I can't remember what else think he's been in, but yeah. But he's someone that like I associate him so much with this film that I can't detach him. But like he's almost a face whenever I see him I get excited about it.
Yeah,
like,
because you remember this performance.
That's exactly
and how
what
amazing it is.
That's exactly what it is. It's a similar thing with Martin Balsam who's Juror 1. He's the detective in Psycho.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah.
And I remember first time watching Psycho, I was like, why do I know him? Why am I getting like mint vibes from him? That's my instant thought was like, why do I think he's going to be amazing? Oh, because he's only in 12 Angry Men and he's really good in that.
Yeah.
Again, I can't think of a better film to like solidify actors in.
No, not at all.
Because this was my first Henry Fonda film as well, even though he was well established by this point as well.
I think it's my first Henry Fonda film.
He's the villain in Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh right, okay.
He's Harmonica? No.
I could see him being a very good villain.
I can't wait till at some point when we talk about that film, whenever we do, because that's it.
Whenever that happens.
Whenever that happens, because I know that probably will. But yeah, like again, I can't think of a better introduction to any actors in this film.
No.
But yeah,
not at all.
Where am I? Oh yeah, I've got but that like, and then when 8 gives 3 his jacket, man.
Lovely.
Everyone funnels out. 8's still there. No, 3's still there. And then 8 walks, gets his jacket, puts it on him. And it's just like...
And he's being nice because he suspected it all along.
Mm. Yeah.
Like as we've been saying.
And
he suspected that it was private all along.
And he didn't want to be like, you're just saying that because... it's like he's like, no, I want to wait to see him do this, and it's
just let it develop naturally.
And it's that shot of like when he is having his rant, and they do those close-ups on all the jurors, where it's like 2 jurors in a frame.
Yeah,
that like borderline Passion of Joan of Arc silent style of framing. It's just like these and again the lens, the vocal length of that lens as well, just making these faces just looking grander with it as well. It's just. Man, it's powerful filmmaking, that one scene.
It really is. I think I haven't seen something in a long time. I haven't watched something for the first time where it's been so ingrained in film language. Like the whole thing. When we talk about film language, I mean like camera movements and placements of cameras and the use of filming techniques and things. So much of this is visual storytelling.
Yes.
As much as a lot of the character work and things like that are the dialogue and the really, really tight, perfect script, a lot of it is also visual storytelling just through what the actors are doing, where the camera is placed to see what they're doing. And it's such good filmmaking.
Yeah, the blocking's impeccable. Like the staging is just absolutely just impeccable. And I've got I got here, might be my favourite ending, and in quotes, "What's your name?" "Davis." "Mine's McCardle." "Well, so long." "So long."
Yeah. It's almost like the guy was expecting to ask him to go out for a drink. And because they just stand there silently for a second, real awkwardly, and he's like, "Oh, nothing else is going to happen with this oh, okay. Well, so long." He just goes.
Yeah,
it's quite upsetting. But it's great.
And again, that big swelling, grand music of them walking down the High Court steps.
And I like the last guy that you see is 3.
That's my final note. The last thing shown is 3 slowly walking down the stairs. He's right above the end.
Yeah.
And then the credits is like, I love the end credits where it's like shots of the dudes. With the names of them, and then the end shot is like that bird's eye view shot with 12 angry men, and then it ends, and then you're like, "Fuck, that was amazing."
That was so good.
Because when it ends, it is almost like you're like, "Oh, fuck, okay, wow, just wow." Like I've said this through every so long. I'm like, I can't nitpick this film. Like, it's the only film where I look at, like, and as we say in these things, every film has its faults. No film's perfect. I'm fucking saying it now. This is the only film that's perfect for me.
It's an entirely perfect film.
Like, it's the only one that I can say that's perfect. And that's why I look at it and say it's my favorite film. I don't look at it.
Yeah.
I don't watch it all the time. But when I do, and I get different things out of it. Like, when I first watched it, I simply saw it like, oh, Juror 8's good, Juror 3's bad. That's just how I saw it first time. And then as I kind of got older, I look at it and go, oh, no, everyone has a point.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. It's things like once you watch it more, I always like try to at least watch it once per year. I don't like to overdo it. I like give it like a year or so. I like to keep it consistent in my mind, but not too like, I don't like repeat watching it loads. But like there's certain films that like stick out in my life at a time. Like I think like Her is a film that is very prominent in my life right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going to happen in the next few years, whether if I'm going to stay like that with Her. There was like a few years ago where Inception was very prominent for me. But then that switches up. Like, I've had my top 5 change so often within the past few years. This is
me too.
This has always been the one. Like, always. Like, forever always been the number one for me. And I thought about, like, with Past the Glory, because Past the Glory is similar in a sense. Like, it came out the same year, believe it or not. So it's a fucking brilliant year, 1957. Right, okay. It's a similar type of thing. And I'm like, I fucking love that film. But, like, I love it for how I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
Like, it's very anti-war, very pacifist mentality, all that stuff. I'm like, I'm thinking about that because that's what's in my head now. But 12 Angry Men has all these themes, but on a different level, I think. And that's why I just think, I mean, again, it's been my favorite film for 8 years now. I just can't, I just don't think it's going to change just because it's that point now.
It's like how I have my 2 favorite films. Like, my top 5 will always shift and change and whatever, but there's 2 specific films that are always staples, and I don't think I'll ever move.
Yeah.
At all.
You just get
and
that,
I know they're not. I know they're not the best films in the world, but I love them.
And we'll
talk about it at some point.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's my overall thoughts on 12 Angry Men. Love it so much. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite film.
Yes.
I was nervous about doing this. One, because I was thinking to myself, I hope Robbie likes it. And then another,
I was hoping I liked it.
And then another point where I was like, I'm intimidated to do this. Because I said last week, I'm like, I never really deep dived into it. So I was like, what am I going to like find problems with this now? But no.
Yeah, through analysis, but no. It's just that good.
No, and I also like I wasn't sure like how well I would do at talking about this film. Because like it's my favorite film, and I'm like, God, am I going to like have good points to make about this? But I feel like I did all right.
We've chatted. Yeah, we've done well.
I'll throw some trivia out there. There's not lots.
Let's do it.
There's not lots on IMDb. I've got a few here from a making of thing on the Blu-ray. So I'll read briefly by those. So it's not really trivia, it's just extra points, this bit. I got here, someone said there's a little bit of me in each juror. Which is like, oh yeah. Like that's how it's relatable. You can relate to any form of any juror in this film. Again, they're not all good and bad. And even the bad ones are like, I probably thought that.
Yeah, like I can relate to loads of them, like, you know, through my knowledge of how to murder someone with a switchblade.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to really wanting to get to a baseball game.
I love my baseball.
You know me, Oscar W. Fitchett, classic baseball fan.
Classic baseball fan.
I can relate to. I guess no, the Yankees.
I can relate to aimlessly throwing paper at an old man's head for no reason.
He didn't lob it at his head. He didn't lob it directly at his head.
No, he didn't. He lobbed it at a fan.
That's a damn stupid thing to do.
Yeah, that was a stupid thing to do, wasn't it?
What are you? What are you, a Yankees fan? No, Baltimore. Baltimore? It's like getting hit in the face every month. And like later on, he goes like, "Hey, shut up, Baltimore," or something like that. He calls him Baltimore. God, again, I love. There's so many good little quotes in this that you can fucking use. He don't even speak good English. Doesn't speak good English. Anyway. Anyway. Where's my... I'm sure I got a sheet of paper somewhere that I noted down. Where's it at? Oh, there it is.
What's that?
Never mind. I found it. But anyway. I got here, Reginald Rose was on a jury and thought that... And through that was inspired to write the teleplay. For 12 Angry Men, so that's where that came from.
I can see that.
Henry Fonda heavily backed the production financially and was the one who got Lumet the job role, as he liked his previous television work.
Oh, right.
Because if you look at the producers, it's Reginald Rose and Henry Fonda.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Henry Fonda was a big financial supporter of the film. Like, he was like the reason it got made.
Right, okay.
Because this was like shoestring budget. This was low budget. And I think like Fonda offered to take a pay cut in order to get the film even made. So
I love that. That's brilliant.
So this was like independent fit, like, and then United Artists distributed it later. So like but yeah.
An MGM company.
Yes. Reginald Rose believes the good in people. And Lumet does not. That is from Lumet's words himself. Which is very interesting that Lumet's kind of continued doing these films where you see the good in people.
Yeah.
Like that
I like that.
That was like Lumet said that himself, that Reginald Rose always believed that there's good in people, and Lumet's kind of a bit of a cynic apparently, which I find that very interesting. They even include the past two
That's
films
really
we
interesting.
talked about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Klugman, who played Juror 5, was highly influenced by Lee J. Cobb in acting.
Oh.
Like, Jack Klug, I forgot the name of the play. I think it was a Tennessee Williams play. But Jack Klugman saw Lee J. Cobb several times in New York in, like, a play, and he, like, kind of, like, looked up to him as, like, an acting presence.
Oh, that's...
Which...
really nice.
Imagine, especially the Juror 3 and Juror 5, who do have some good dynamic moments in that.
Yeah,
as well.
they do, yeah.
Imagine acting across like someone you look up to.
Your acting hero, yeah.
In a solid sense of dialogue as well. Like, that's a fucking dream and a half, that is.
Yeah.
It was a 3-week production, and a lot of rehearsal took place like a play within the film.
I can see that. Yeah. Well, with the blocking and everything, it's very play-like. That's why I wasn't surprised that there's a theatre adaptation, because it really lends itself to that.
I kind of want a mini dream in mind. I kind of want to do a stage adaptation of this. I would just fucking that would be so. Because I always thought, like, I would love like another remake. Because you can keep doing them. You can keep just getting the top actors of a generation in a film.
Yeah.
And do you know what I thought? Like, imagine if they did one 20 years later, right? And I don't know why. There was some sort of mannerism one actor had, and I thought, like, imagine if John Cazale was in that role or something like that. And then I started thinking about, like, wow, imagine if, like, a 70s adaptation of the film with John Cazale, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Robert Duvall, Brando, Martin Sheen, like all the actors that we've talked about, like within this.
Oh, dude, that'd be so good.
Woody Allen could have been Juror 2.
Yes. Yes.
So I just thought, man,
easily.
You could have, like, that. All this would have been. That would have been. Duvall could have been Juror 1.
Oh yes.
Just like.
Yes.
So I kind of like. I always like want to. Man, I just want like another one. Can we get one every decade of like the best actors of like each?
The best actors at the time.
Maybe like every 2 decades.
Who would be in it now?
I always thought like Fassbender would be a solid choice.
Yeah, would probably be a solid 8.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I don't know why. I always thought like Eisenberg as Juror 2. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I could see like a Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a Juror 8, you know?
Yes. He's getting back into his acting again. He's getting back into acting in films.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That would be class.
Yeah,
I always J.K. Simmons could be a good Juror 10.
Yes.
That would be
What a
good.
man.
Tom Hanks could be Juror 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm well up for this. Can we do this? Can this happen, please?
Right, so we're just going to pitch this, and
Yeah,
off you
pitch
go.
this and
Off you go.
we'll get on with it.
The 6-minute take of the members entering the room took a day and a half of rehearsal, which,
Yeah, obviously.
It's like, right, you set your line at this, because you need to make sure the camera's getting those moments and like all this
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
And they're saying their dialogue at the right moment. It's, yeah. I mean, understandable.
Good shit.
As the film progressed, Lumet chose to increase the length of lenses. There you go. That's some. That's the exact point there. And the end quote of that was 12 Angry Men will always be around. Because it will. It's always going to be relevant, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
It just always is. I got a few other notes here of differences from the teleplay, which I just thought I would throw there. The original TV version from 1954 was directed by Franklin J. Schaffner, who went on to direct Patton. Yep.
Good on him.
It was for the series Westinghouse Presents Studio One, and it was like every week there would be these different live dramas by different writers.
Right. Okay.
So, and it would play right after I Love Lucy on a Monday evening, on a Monday night. So it would be like, so it would like flow after I Love Lucy, which was the highest watched show at that time.
Yeah.
And then you would go into this like late night live drama of like.
That's quite. The thing that's kind of going on like that at the minute I'm pretty sure it's on BBC One, that Julia was showing me. It's kind of like, they're all written by Alan Bennett.
Okay.
And it's one actor, and they just do a monologue for like 45 minutes, and you get like different reveals about the character and stuff as the monologue's going on, and it all kind of tells a story. It's quite interesting. It showed me one of them. I can't remember what it's off the top of my head what it's called, but I'd recommend watching that to anyone interested.
I got here the other TV it was Marty, 12 Angry Men, and Patterns were integral pieces of drama for TV at that time. And apparently, I've got here because Marty was made into a feature film. And in 1955 by United Artists, and that won Best Picture at that time. So that's what made them interested in getting 12 Angry Men, because then the year later, Patterns, which was a Rod Serling written drama,
Mr. Twilight Zone,
was adapted.
I love him dearly.
Was also adapted in 1956, and which was also successful at the box office at the time. So that's what, which was also distributed by United Artists, which was kind of the reason why United Artists was interested in 12 Angry Men, because they're like, these other two did well, and I think the television writers wrote this feature film screenplay. So I think like Rod Serling wrote Patterns as well. Okay. And Patterns starred Ed Begley as well, who was Juror 10. But also, what I found very interesting, 12 Angry Men didn't do well at all financially, box officely.
Really?
Because United Artists, they marketed it as a Henry Fonda picture, and they played it in big screens, hoping that people would rush to see this new Henry Fonda film. And Henry Fonda and Lumet, they were like, it's a small film. Why are they putting like these big screens? And I think the film only lasted like a week in theaters.
Right, okay.
Because like, this has gone shit up for us, mate. It's like, yeah, because you're like doing it all
because you're not marketing it right.
Yeah. Like, why are you doing it?
It's like Drive all over again.
Oh, God, yeah, I remember that time, yeah. But so there's a few little interesting facts there. This is one thing I noticed. Joseph Sweeney and George Voskovec played Juror 9 and 11 in the TV drama.
Oh.
So
same guys, they just kind of plonked them and pulled them over to the new one.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
And they were just as good, really. They were just as good in the TV drama.
I love Juror 11. It's great.
In the 1954 drama, Juror 6 doesn't stand up for Juror 9. Yeah, I already said that. The painter doesn't stand up for the old guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't really like bulk up to him. Most of the dialogue is exactly the same, but just obviously the film has added bits in it to make it a feature. I noticed it. Juror 1 is a bit more arsey in the teledrama.
In the telefly.
Yeah, he's a bit like he's kind of like when Juror 8 goes like, I would like to see the knife, and he has to repeat himself, and Juror 1 goes, yeah, I heard you. He's
just a bit more of a
yeah, he's a bit more like ugh.
Nah.
Yeah, so like I just found that like a bit interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. I'd be interested to watch that actually.
I found it's on the Criterion.
Alright, cool.
But you might be able to find it online. It's hang on. Just replying to friends because they're like, "Where's Oscar at?" So I have to be like, "I'm still recording. Calm down."
I'm just recording. Leave me alone.
Calm down, lads. We've still got time.
Yeah.
I got Juror 8 is the one correcting the others about the knife holding technique in the film.
Oh.
Like the knife gets put down, and then Juror 8 picks it up and goes, "That looks awkward." Right? And then he asks Juror 5, and Juror 5 is like,
"Oh, okay."
He goes, "Oh yeah, I didn't really think about that."
I thought you meant as in they take the moment away from Juror 5. I was like, what?
No, like
You've got to be
that's how it looked at first. I was like, this is making no sense at all. But
yeah.
The baseball tickets aren't a plot point in the film. In the TV drama.
I quite like the baseball tickets thing because it's
Juror 12's uncertainty isn't a plot point. When he bounces back from being guilty, not guilty, guilty. That's not in the teledrama.
Oh. I like it more. Like I was saying earlier, it makes you think that maybe other people will start flip-flopping as well.
Exactly.
Adds a bit more tension to the end of it.
This is a big one here. Juror 4 doesn't wear glasses.
How?
And Juror 2 is the one with the glasses plot point.
Oh, shit.
But at that point...
Well, what convinces Juror 4 then?
That.
Oh, okay.
But it's not in relation to him.
Yeah. Wait, I think it plays better with being in relation to him.
Because there's a point where Juror 2 is like trying to clean his glasses, and he's like looking at... and he goes, "What's the time? I can't see." And that's when they notice the marks on the side of his nose.
Oh, okay.
But then that changes Juror 4's point. But I'm like... It makes more sense if, like, why does he go, "Oh, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, all right then." But I like it more when it's like he's in relation to it.
Yeah, it completely applies to him. Like, it's a tailor-made reason as to why he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer it the way it is in the film, definitely.
And here's the biggest difference in the teledrama.
Okay.
The ending is ambiguous.
So you don't find out if it was entirely not guilty or not?
You're left to assume that it might have went to a hung jury.
Oh, shit.
Because what happens... Because what happens at the end, Juror 3's going on he doesn't go on his tirade of like, "Fuck this kid." Like, that's brought up, but you don't hear about him more. Everyone's kind of like, "Oh yeah, must feel bad to be alone." And then Juror 3 goes, "All right then." And then everyone gets up and then starts leaving the room. And then I think he starts like, and then I think you see Juror 3 write a note down and put it down on a table or something. And then just as they about to leave, it's Juror 8 and Juror 3 are like the last two left. Juror 3 gets the knife, gets 8's knife, flicks it back open and kind of like points it at 8, and they kind of have a bit of a glare at each other. And then he hands the knife back to him, and then the jury door shuts, and then it ends.
I don't think I like that.
No, but apparently in the original script, what was said, apparently the camera was meant to pan out and move down to reveal he wrote "not guilty." So so Reginald Rose always had that in mind, but Franklin J. Schaffner liked the idea of directing it to be like a bit more ambiguous.
A bit ambiguous.
But I didn't like it.
No, I'm not really a fan of that. And also the like kind of pseudo threatening him with the knife thing as well.
Yeah,
Seems a bit over dramatic.
I was confused by that.
Yeah.
But the 1954 teleplay, it's very interesting. It's interesting as
yeah,
like a comparison
I definitely want to give that a watch.
I forgot to watch another thing. There's a teleplay that came out in 56, I think, that Reginald Rose wrote and Lumet directed.
All right.
Which I forgot to watch, but I'm interested in actually seeing that. Because that's
the
first collaboration at that point. Right, a bit of trivia from IMDb's point. That's a bit of like, I think just like fun little comparisons and trivia. Again, not a lot, so like one page. Because the film failed to make a profit, Henry Fonda never received his deferred salary. Despite this setback, he always regarded this film as one of the best 3 he ever made. The others being The Grapes of Wrath and The Oxbow Incident.
Right.
Which, he never got his, like, deferred salary from it.
Never got his money back.
Which,
bless him.
I mean,
bless Collins.
I think he got fine anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
The film is commonly used in business schools and workshops to illustrate team dynamics and conflict resolution techniques.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got a friend, actually, my friend Jack's coming over tonight with my other friend Adam, both of whom I work with, and Jack's a business student, so I might
ask him about it.
I'll recommend it to him.
Yeah. No, and that makes sense. I think you know when
it makes sense to me.
I think you know when a film is fucking great when it gets used.
Yeah.
It gets taught in things that aren't film as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Inside Out should be taught in primary schools, in my opinion.
Yes, it should.
Just to teach kids that it's okay to be sad sometimes. Irrelevant.
That genuinely needs to be taught. Genuinely needs to be taught.
Yeah.
Henry Fonda immediately complained to Sidney Lumet about the cheap backdrops outside the jury room windows when he walked on set. Quotes, "They look like shit. Alfred Hitchcock, had great backdrops. You could walk right in them," said Fonda, referring to the previous film he had made with Hitchcock, The Wrong Man, which is another fucking great film, which I would love to talk about.
Yeah.
A Henry Fonda starring film directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Man, it's good shit. It's really good. Lumet assured him that director of photography Boris Kaufman had a plan to make them work. Even so, it is quite noticeable that the backdrop was designed from a lower perspective than the window, as one of the large buildings was clearly skewed, as if it were viewed from a point much lower down.
Yeah. I noticed it more when it started raining. It was darker.
Yeah.
Because they kind of put it's like they painted the windows yellow or something. Like it looks like they've just been painted on windows.
You could get away
with it. But it didn't take me out of it too much. They got away with it.
You could get away with it because it's in black and white. I think that's a big
Yeah, exactly.
You can get away with it. So, because of the demands of the film's low budget, if the lighting was set up for a shot that took place from one particular angle, all the shots from that same angle had to be filmed then and there. This meant that different sides of the same conversation was sometimes shot several weeks apart.
Oh, Christ.
Which is exactly a thing that we encountered when doing our film.
Yeah,
where,
and it just gets so convoluted. And
when I remember thinking, because my idea was we're going to shoot it all chronologically. Then I realised, we're going to have to set up lighting so many times. It's just going to be easier to do one light setup and just record all of one bit of dialogue and then do it differently. But but that is different. That it gets very complicated very quickly. You can very easily lose track of what you've been shooting. That's even better in the sense because that film flows.
Yeah, it really does.
They could have filmed one side of the argument one week, and then the next week they filmed another side of an argument for that exact scene. That's quite incredible, I think.
Yeah, the fact that it lines up as well as it does.
Yeah, it's just smooth. Obviously I see there's cuts, but they would have had to go cut and then reassess a situation and then get back to filming. But it does flow so well.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, when thinking about it, it's probably one of the best edited films.
Yeah,
for that
hats off
reason.
to the editor. Yeah.
Let me look at the editor, because again, I
Go
like to give credit where credit's due with stuff like this, because again, as aspiring filmmakers, you know, it's quite impressive to see these things. Carl Lerner edited the film.
Yeah. Well done, sir.
He edited Clute.
Ah,
I've heard of the film.
there you go.
According to his autobiography, Henry Fonda was disappointed with United Artists' distribution strategy and felt that the studio's approach had deprived the film of a chance at financial success. In particular, Fonda noted that United Artists placed it in theaters too large for a small film to fill, and in addition, did not re-release it after it won numerous awards.
Yeah.
Which is strange. Like it's getting some award success, but yet you don't like bring it out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's silly. I don't understand that.
This is a big piece of trivia. Speaking at a screening of the film during the 2010 Fordham University Law School Film Festival, never knew that was a film festival.
No.
Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, sorry if I butchered the name, stated that seeing the film while she was in college influenced her decision to pursue a career in law. She was particularly inspired by immigrant juror 11's monologue on his reverence for the American justice system. She also told the audience of law students that as a lower court judge, she would sometimes instruct juries to not follow the film's example, because most of the jurors' conclusions are based on speculation, not fact. Sotomayor noted that events such as Juror 8's entering a similar knife into the proceedings, doing outside research into the case matter in the first place, and ultimately the jury as a whole making broad, wide-ranging assumptions far beyond the scope of reasonable doubt, such as the interferences, the references regarding the old woman wearing glasses, would never be allowed to occur in a real-life jury situation, and would, in fact, have resulted in a mistrial, assuming, of course, that applicable law permitted the content of jury deliberations to be revealed.
Yeah. I mean, it's very obviously not accurate.
No, I think like someone said like, I heard like there was a woman like in a case that did some outside investigation, and she had to get like removed from the jury.
Yeah, it'll have to go to retrial, and
yeah,
it gets very complicated very quickly. But I mean, if it wasn't like that, if it wasn't dramatized, boring.
Yeah, it would be a boring film, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Again, there's a reason why in the People vs. O.J. Simpson series, we don't focus all on the jury. We focus on the actual court case itself.
Exactly,
Because I can imagine the jury case in that case wouldn't have been exciting.
No, it wouldn't be exciting to watch, definitely not.
I guess that's why you get more courtroom dramas and jury room dramas these days, because you get people these days who be like, that's not realistic. It wouldn't fly now, really.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
but I think this holds up very well.
Oh yeah, I think it holds up not because it's fine as like not a very accurate piece of jury like courtroom based stuff. It holds up more as like human conversations.
Exactly.
And questioning people's morals. I think that's where the film holds up a lot more.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Last piece of trivia: when John Calley was running United Artists from 1993 to 1996, he gave an interview to The New Yorker in which he discussed United Artists' continuing rights to the project, and said he had looked into a possible remake that would have starred Michelle Pfeiffer and been set around the 1992 Los Angeles riots in the aftermath of the Rodney King incident. Trial verdicts.
Wait, but right,
it would have been,
there's so much to unpack.
It would have been 12 Angry People.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer playing who?
I think 8, if that's the case.
That doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't.
At all.
I would understand wanting to try to freshen up by making it more of like diverse, because Well, the thing was, it's like in the 50s, women weren't allowed to be on a jury, so that's why that's how it is.
Yeah.
Because I hear people go like, it's not diverse. It's like, because it wasn't fucking allowed then.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Whereas, like, I can imagine, like...
Yeah, I don't think Michelle Pfeiffer would suit that.
No.
At all.
I'll be all right.
Really?
I'll be fine with an updated version with more, like, different genders. Like, that would be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Very interesting, yeah.
Because you can get more conversations, I guess. You can get more things in there, I think.
As long as they do it where as long as they did it where it actually changed the dynamic.
Yes, yeah.
Of it, as opposed to Doctor Who. But we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Because I'll start to cry.
But that's the last piece of trivia. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Of like,
that's very interesting. It's a very odd one.
Yeah. Again, there's not a lot to necessarily look into this because again, it's just kind of is what it is. But I would suggest like looking into just watch the film and just watch more things about it. Yeah.
Just give it a watch. It's
Definitely.
Great.
Right.
Really good.
Negative
Letterboxd
reviews.
Yes.
Here we go. Right. Hall of Fame.
Segment. Yes.
We have pathetic mustaches.
Mm-hmm.
Poop.
Too much jungle.
Too much jungle. I thought it was going to be good, but it turned out to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Did we have
Excellent
one
stuff.
last week? We had that really like nice, like decently worded one.
There was the one where it was like the Midnight Cowboy sequel where Paco robs a bank.
Yes,
or
that's
whatever.
it. Yeah,
That was a pretty good one.
yeah, that's a good one. And also, Blue God made an appearance again.
Yes, he did. Well done, Blue God.
Let's see if he's in here again. Right.
We can only hope.
All of these are half a star reviews, by the way, of 12 Angry Men. I don't know how this is possible, but let's look.
Right, let's have a go.
Right, half a star. It's so boring, my history teacher forced us to watch it, and it was just 12 old men talking about some guy getting killed. And they were like, ooh, he's young. He's fucking 18. Get over it, you fucking pussies. I saw the trailer. You spelt trailer wrong, by the way. And they tried so hard to make it action-packed. But the on-loo scene? What the fuck's on-loo scene? But the on-loo scenes there are the only scenes. But the only scenes there was just one of the dudes pulling out a knife, which was kind of cool, actually. And one of the guys walking around so fucking shit.
What?
I'm not even gonna like. I did that voice because he put it all in caps.
Right, okay.
I didn't just do a voice. I was all in caps.
I mean, I like how even a guy that's just slating it for no reason has to acknowledge that the knife bit's a bit cool.
Oh yeah. I was like, there was no action. What did you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
It's a jury room.
What is this man's favourite films on Letterboxd?
Okay, let's have a look. I'm not going to credit his name. Right. He doesn't have favourite films listed on Letterboxd, so he's been.
Damn it.
But yeah, anyway.
He signed up specifically to piss you off and then left.
That's exactly what it was.
Is it Gary?
It might be. Half a star. So let me get this straight. Not only are there men in this film, 12 of them, well done, but they're angry too. No thanks. I think I'll just watch Notting Hill again. I mean,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I'll wait to see if that one's the top of the list, and then I'll credit this person.
Yes.
But I mean, fair. I haven't seen Notting Hill, but I just love that. Like, wait, so there's 12 men and they're angry? I'll watch Notting Hill, thank you.
The most quaint British review I've ever seen of anything. Jesus Christ.
Right, half a star. This film, I'm not correcting it. That's how this F-I-L-R-N. That's how they spell it. This film is so pretentious. Why is it black and white? It was made after that Dory movie.
What Dory movie?
I don't get it.
Why is it in black and white? That's so pretentious. There wasn't colour.
Well, it was, but colour was very expensive.
Yeah. The
So,
Dory
you know.
movie? Oh, do they mean Dorothy? Do they mean Wizard of
Oh,
Oz?
maybe. Oh, they must do, yeah.
What about
Yeah, because
Dory?
that film, yeah, I thought it was like Finding Nemo. What do you
Yeah.
mean? Dorothy. Yeah, okay. There's 2 comments on this review. Someone put Dory movie? Question mark. And then someone put like and then that person replies saying, "Finding Dory with the red slippers." Yeah, you're taking the piss. Cheers.
You twat.
Right, okay, moving on from that.
I hate this man.
Half a star. Literally one of the worst films ever, but everyone should watch it at least once. What the actual hell?
What does that mean? What
Right,
does that mean?
Right, there's 3 comments. Someone put, "You're entitled to your opinion, but like no."
Excellent response.
And then someone else put, "Ugh, open your profile and see that you rated Hangover 5 stars. Difficult."
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, Hangover's good, but...
Yeah, it's a good time.
And then
But-
someone else put, like, "You said The Hangover was a masterpiece."
Fuck me.
So, okay, moving swiftly on from that one then.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a foreign one. Not yet.
one of these days.
Half a star. Trash. I mean,
Is that it?
yeah.
Brilliant. You're trash.
Half a star. The absolute worst. So boring. So horrible. I have PTSD from this movie. Fuck this. Jesus Christ.
Are you alright, man? You good?
We get reviews sometimes where it's like, God, is this person okay?
Yeah, is he good? Jesus.
Half a star. This movie isn't boring at all, and that's a good point we could count for this movie. But the end is so expected since the begging. I assume that means the beginning. The whole movie actually is predictable. When I first saw the movie, it was good, but when I thought of it, it was no good point.
What? When I saw the movie, it was good, but when I thought of the movie, it was no good point. What does that mean? Like, if you're gonna slate a movie like an idiot, at least be competent about it. Like, what? What is happening?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Is people's reviews just like misspellings and like do they not speak good English?
I don't know.
He don't even speak good English. Doesn't speak good English.
Doesn't speak good English.
Right, half a star. Watch this for my sophomore English class last semester.
Okay.
Thoughts, please? Right.
Anything else?
Anything? No. Okay.
No.
Fair
Cool.
enough. Half a star. You didn't like it? Okay. Half a star. Ah, yes. 12 angry white men decide the fate of an innocent Mexican. And boo-hoo, they're having a very hard time making their mind up before the big game. Fuck off. That's not the point.
That's not the point of the movie. It's the opposite of the point of the movie.
Right, there's 6 comments on here. What is this? I think you missed the point of the movie. They acknowledge this, and there's literally a pivotal moment where the jurors all shun Juror 10 for his prejudiced statements. The juror not wanting to be late for the ball game is criticised by other jurors. Fucking exactly.
Good
It's
lad.
not like all of them are like, "Oh, we got this big ball game, are we, lads? Let's finish this."
Yeah, no.
They're not all like, "I love being white."
I think they completely missed the point, this guy.
And then someone put like, what does them being white have to do with it? Kind of racist. And then someone put I need to keep reading these comments because it's actually pretty sound. One of them put, that's the whole point of the movie, you 260-year-old tree stump.
What?
Someone called him a 260-year-old tree stump.
I need to use that insult more often.
Then someone did this. Point 1, the defendant is Puerto Rican. Point 2, in both the movie and play, the prejudice is due to the class difference. Point 3, only one juror explicitly stated he has a ticket to the game, and he was criticised for wanting to get this over with as soon as possible so he wouldn't miss the game. Point 4, while it is the focus of the movie, the debate over whether the defendant is guilty or not is not the only thing going on. Many of the jurors have to get over their own personal biases to give the defendant a fair trial. Yes.
Yes.
And so
correct.
He isn't even Mexican, you stupid fuck. Right. I have to give the review of the week. So let me get this straight. Not only are there men in this film, 12 of them, but they're angry too. No thanks. I think I'll just watch Notting Hill again.
Yes.
Shout out to Jad.
Good shit.
Who's... God damn it. They've only got one favourite film on here.
Go on.
It's Notting Hill.
Yes, come on.
They don't have anything else.
God, that's satisfying.
Talk about a satisfying character arc.
That's fucking excellent.
I also love your bio. I do not belong here. I know not good film.
I know not a good film.
Shout out to Jad.
Shout out to Jazz. You made us chuckle. Good on you.
Right, and that was negative Letterboxd reviews.
Yeah.
I didn't get angry. during
Well
that.
done, mate. I'm proud of you. I'll get angry next week, guarantee.
Because next week, right, it's only fair. Because my thought when planning these Intermission podcasts, I was like, should we continue just doing Lumet films? I'm like, I don't know. I think we might need a bit of a break from like doing just strictly director things. But there needs to be a bit of a theme, I think. 12 Angry Men is my favourite film of all time. And Robbie, your favourite film is Spider-Man 2, which we're not doing because that doesn't fit the criteria of this podcast. But your other favourite film, which also fits in the criteria of the podcast, which is only fair. We get to my favourite. We get to one of your like other favourite films.
Yeah. It's very sentimental to me.
We're doing Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park next week, Robbie.
God, I'm so excited.
I've seen this.
I'm so excited.
This could be the first film where we've both seen this anyway.
Yes.
So.
God, I'm excited. This is... I have two favourite films of all time. When I was saying about in my top 5, there's two that are always there. It's Jurassic Park and Spider-Man 2. For anyone that is interested. I'm so excited about this. Because, again, I've never properly analysed this film.
Mm-hmm.
And it means a lot to me. I'll explain next week why the film means a lot to me, but it's bloody God, it's good.
Exactly.
I'm very excited.
So tune in next week. This would be the newest film as well so far.
Yeah, it will be the newest film I've done.
1993.
Yeah, 93.
I kind of want to stick within the 2000 into the 90s at the latest at the moment.
Yes.
Until we establish a groove, because I do one day want to get to other films that are newer. But anyway, But yeah, Jurassic Park next week.
Let's do it.
Here's my point. This is Dad Oscar.
Yes, man. So ready.
But this is Lee J. Cobb Dad Oscar, not Henry Fonda Dad Oscar. Gonna speak right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wear your fucking face masks.
Do it. Just wear them.
Right. I'm not going to get into a massive rant about it, but you're not being repressed because you want a piece of cloth on your face. You're not getting your rights taken away because the government's saying just wear something on your face so you don't spread anything. Just
Don't be a dick. Just wear a mask.
Be a team player.
Yeah.
Just do it. Because it's not protecting you. It's protecting everyone else from your idiocy. Just do it.
Don't be a twat, Dave.
God damn it. I'm talking from a place where my town might be going into a mini lockdown.
Just wear a fucking mask.
Just do it. I want to go out. I want to... That's it. I'm going to stop before I get into a...
This is a PSA. Please release this on the Instagram as its own separate video. It's just
I might
the
just
PSA.
make this. I might.
Yeah.
You know what I should do? I should do that, and I should like Photoshop like Henry Fonda or like Lee J. Cobb with a mask on.
Yeah.
Where he's
Just wear a
doing the
fucking
points,
mask,
just-
everyone. Please.
Just do it.
It's
God
easy
damn it.
enough. Just, yeah.
Look, a vaccine is hopefully going to be here within next year. It's not going to be that long. Just chill. Just chill out a bit.
Chill
Make
out.
it better.
There was, in some better news for the coronavirus stuff, I heard whilst I was at work. I haven't actually looked into this myself, so it could be incorrect. But supposedly, over the last week, deaths in the UK came down by 25% from coronavirus. So that's more positive. But if you want that trend to continue, us be on the up and up towards things being relatively normal again, wear a fucking mask. Don't be an idiot.
And
is what
that's
I
your
would say.
uncle. And that's your Uncle Robbie speaking.
That's
as
Uncle
well.
Robbie speaking. Don't be a twat. Wear a mask.
I like how I have like 3 different personas. I have like, I'm like older brother Oscar, but then I've got 2 different dad Oscars as well.
Yeah.
I like that thought. I like the thought of like Henry Fonda dad Oscar and like Lee J. Cobb dad Oscar.
That needs to, yeah. This needs to be a thing.
Look, I'm
You-
trying
you
to be
have to-
nice to you. I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm just saying it's possible, and then I'm like, then you didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's not possible. You work your heart out for these kids, and they don't even wear a goddamn face mask. And you get there's my impressions of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank
Well
you
done,
all.
Oscar.
Jeff Goldblum stars in a film next week.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm in for the picking for that.
God, I'm so. And there's a Sam Jackson one.
Yes, there you go.
And there's the computer thing where they get the password wrong. It's all like
You know more about it than I do, Robbie.
I'm so excited. I can't find to where how excited I am.
I'm excited to see for your thing.
Oh yes. I can't wait to
Right.
make notes on this. But yeah.
Before we get more out of control.
Yes.
Sorry for last week. It was a good film. What can we say? Dog Day Afternoon was fucking brilliant.
It was pretty great.
Uh,
Not too bad this week.
No, what are we at?
2 hours 43.
Okay, that's fine. I thought it was longer.
No.
So, thank you everyone for listening. Swift in.
Swift in. See you next week.
Bye.